Okay, everybody, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and all videos.
Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Huh? It's a house!
Guess we don't see the dogs again. I have to change that camera around, I guess. All right, how's it going, everybody? Got a bunch of new Delphi documents came out today. Just more of the same. Gonna go over that later. But I thought we'd start off by going over the, just all the new information that came out in the Stephan Sterns and just sort of putting it together, in the Madeline Soto case. I mean, the details in the document are, just horrific. The stuff that Madeline, the pictures that he took when she was 11 and a half years old, pretty much involved anything that you could imagine somebody taking pictures of. I mean, it's ridiculous. Or any, the worst of the worst. All right. Yeah, so I'm just going to do this by memory from the, today we're watching the, we listened to the interview that Stephan Sterns did, and it was way better audio that I put out there, where you could actually hear it all pretty clearly without the going on in the background. And so, let's just go through the whole thing again, but now there's different information. So, this is where Madeline's grandmother lived right here, or lives right here, and that's where the party was on the 25th. And now it turns out that Stephan Sterns, by his wording, that he wasn't at the party. I guess he could be saying when he got to Kissimmee, it was after the party and he was at the party, but it sounds like that isn't true, because it sounds like he got to the apartment at like 8 o'clock, and that's something that's probably, how did Madeline get home, I guess, from the party? There's stuff that we don't have filled out currently. So she's over at this party on the 25th, and then the 26th is the morning where she's, Stephan Sterns claimed he took her to school, left the house at like, they got up at 7 and started to get ready, 7 to 7:15, and then they left the house at, I think he said 7:20 to 7:40. It was like a crazy, man, what do you do? Just jump up and throw some clothes on? Girls a lot of times, you take a little time to get ready. You don't just jump up at 7, maybe at 13 you do, I don't know, but 7, getting up at 7:15 and leaving at 7:30, that seems pretty quick. But then that also throws out Jennifer Soto's statement when she said, I saw her getting ready at 8 in the morning. Because obviously that's not true if he says that, so I don't even know. It feels odd because they, like that comment seems like one that she was told to say by Stephan Sterns, but at the same time, that doesn't match his story, so it would be kind of stupid to say that. So he's saying, 7:20 to 7:40, he's driving up, and then when he was talking to these investigators, it just turned into this crazy story. Like, he said he drove by up here and was going to take her to McDonald's. And after we went to McDonald's, he takes a left here, and she goes, I don't want to go to McDonald's. And then apparently somewhere up in this area, anywhere up in here, he did a U-turn to go back to try to sell her on McDonald's again, because he just had to give her McDonald's. But then she still didn't want McDonald's. So then after that time, he drove around like this and then took a left on a Town Center Boulevard and then drove up like this. And he says he dropped Madeline off right here on the side of the road, kind of on the right side by the sidewalk, on the other side of this island right here. And he said that was like, I think he said 7:20 to 7:40. But then they questioned him on it and said, hey, well, we have you at 8:10 driving south on the highway right here, on South John Young Parkway. And then he goes, oh, yeah. I had to go back and get the clicker. I had to go get the clicker for my, to get back into the game. It's the stupidest thing you've ever heard in your life. Listen to what he said he did. He said he had to drive back to the apartment here, instead of dropping her off. He said he was almost about to drop her off the first time. Of course, he didn't throw that into the story till later because there was never that part of it. But then he realized, I got to add this again. So I almost dropped her off, and then I turned all the way around and drove all the way back home to get a clicker, and I had to go to the front gate to show him my ID. And then after I showed him my ID, I was given permission to go in, and then he went over to the apartment over here and got the clicker because he likes to come back through the back gate, he said. Well, wow, we know you like to go through the back gate to, sneak in or whatever. But, how ridiculous is that concept? Why didn't you just drop her off where you were right there? You just drop her off right where you said you were going to drop her off. Then you go home and then you, get your key fab, or, the key, however the hell you want to get it. I don't understand why you had to, you didn't need to drive back with her again. You could have just dropped her off, came back, got in, and went to the apartment. But instead, you kept her in the car with you, and then you drove back. But none of the times work either, because at 8:10, he's seen driving. That's way outside of the 7:20 to 7:40 range that he gave. And then at 8:19, he's actually driving back with her body visible in the vehicle. In another document, this one right here, it mentions, upon reviewing the security video, Detective Tagler observed Stephan's vehicle exiting the complex with a female wearing a green sweater in the front passenger seat. The female was slumped over to her left, which is an abnormal way for a person to be seated. Right. You'd normally lean up against the door. And at this point, Detective Tagler decided to secure the residence. So the thing is I think that was at around 7:35. Hey, thanks, little puppy paws. So I think that was around 7:35, I'm going to guess. Right around that time is the first sighting of her in the vehicle. And then I think he just drove up there with her body propped up in the car to be shown on camera somewhere. And then he comes back at 8:19 and her body's still propped up in there. And, he didn't really think through that part. Thanks, Paulette Leonard and Alley Cake. Yeah. Let's see. Hey, thanks, Julius. Doesn't make any sense. He lost track of his own. Yeah, he just totally lost track of it. And then he also said in the interview that she dug through her backpack and she had her laptop with her, and they already knew. I think they already knew at this point because they already had the surveillance of him leaving with her body in there, or looking like she's slumped over. So I think that he said, "Oh yeah, so she had her backpack and laptop." They already knew that the laptop and backpack was thrown in the garbage. So they're just going, "Whoa." So he's claiming she had it, and he doesn't know that we know that he threw it in the garbage can. So what do you guys think about this? So I think what we have now is that there's probably footage of him leaving. It's the first time we've heard ever that in this case that there's video of him leaving the complex with her body visible. So he leaves with her body probably at 7:35, just like that's true what he said. That part about the timing he left the home. Then he drove up here, and I don't know what he was doing, just driving around trying to make sure she's seen on camera or something. But then just like 30 minutes later, he's driving back with her body in the vehicle, and he never dropped her off, of course. And they just absolutely nailed him in there. Proved in lies. And then we have the crazy part at the end. I think it's also in here, where it says, I contacted Stephan in an interview room at the sheriff's office. Stephan was asleep. I entered the room along with Corporal Illigan. After introducing ourselves, I explained the reason why we were there speaking with him. I read Stephan his Miranda warnings, which we waived, and agreed to speak with us. He waived. Stephan stated he had known... let's just see. Okay, let me just get down here. It says... He said that Madeline wanted them to all sleep in the same bed when he returned from being away for several months. So he's admitting, he's trying to even say that night they all slept in the same bed. Stephan referred to it as snuggling. As the interview went on, I asked Stephan if she had been sexually active with anyone in the past, and he mentioned something about using filming something with a phone. And then up here, Jennifer talked about that. I think it's somewhere up in, maybe it's up higher, where Jennifer said that when there were certain nights where she didn't feel good or whatever, she would let Stephan and Madeline stay in the same bed, right? That's just absolutely ridiculous. So they'd stay in the same bed, and then, then they made excuses about how she didn't like to ever be alone, but sometimes she would sleep with Jennifer, but then sometimes if Jennifer was having her issues, she would let Madeline and Stephan sleep in a bed in another room even. It's crazy. Oh yeah, right here it says, yes. Jennifer stated if she needed a good night's sleep due to her anxiety, she would ask them to sleep in a different bedroom. Orange County detectives had previously shown photographs of Stephan, so then they ended up showing her a picture of Stephan having sex with her daughter, and she said she didn't recognize anything in the picture, which is kind of lame. And she was in denial. However, she became visibly upset. I wonder why at that point she's still... I wonder what it's like now. Did she ever... Because right then she's still kind of protecting him. Maybe all those years she's freaking out. I don't know. That's ridiculous. Left slump position. I wonder if there were any... Other than the abnormal left slump position, I wonder if there were any other indications from a security camera distance that she was deceased. I don't know. They haven't said anything, so I know we can wonder about it. Thankfully, he saved the images on a drive. Well, I think they just kind of it's out on the Google Drive, yeah. I mean, this guy is just he's an idiot. You know, he probably used that Google Drive to upload to, you know, to places like Telegram, etc. Yeah, we know, DM. We covered the case since the beginning, remember? Yeah. Yeah, she said we dropped him off at the school, but then she'd say, well, he dropped him off. So she didn't stay with his cover story of they were all together driving Madeline to school. She eventually said, well, yeah, we took her to school, and then she goes, well, my boyfriend took her to school. So she was already kind of like, yeah, that's not really true what he wants me to say. So then she says that. Mm-hmm. And Stephan then asked if he should talk to a lawyer. Yeah. They haven't released that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't. If the stuff that isn't released, there's no reason to wonder about it. You know what I mean? It's like we don't know. It's not looking good for Jen Soto. Yeah, I mean, she looks more like now it seems even more plausible. It's plausible that she would know something, but she hasn't been arrested, you guys, and it's very possible that he just had control over both of them, and she felt like, you know, he was trustworthy and just nothing, you know, and he coached Madeline to act a certain way and didn't give off any vibes to the mother. You know, it's possible, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, just like every other night in here, you guys, if you want to help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, allows me to keep doing these shows, and I also give away quite a bit, and we've given away almost over $200,000 in the last 4.5 years from the income from the channel, including ad revenue, super chats, all that stuff. So if you're out there and you can help, that'd be great. I'd appreciate it. At least consider it. Yeah, it's just not, it doesn't make sense like, oh yeah, go ahead and sleep with this grown man. But I mean, look at it like this. He's known them for like 7 or 8 years. So he's always been around. So maybe it didn't seem as weird to the mother at that point. You know, after being around for 8 years, he's always doing this and doing that. And then eventually he groomed Madeline to not say anything, so everything seemed normal. You know, and maybe just the way things were set up, it made it easy for Stephan Sterns. Just saying. Let's just see let's just see how it plays out. I mean, apparently she was absolutely, you know, yelling, you know, acted just like you would act if you found out your child was dead. Yeah. Be under a seal until trial, if trial is even televised, which I doubt. Mm-hmm. So I think now they're kind of suggesting they have video of the car leaving. They have video that suggests the, you know, that he comes back at 8:19, seen at 8:10. You know, I don't know. It could be also that she's seen. I doubt it. Like when he left at 12:30, he would have had her covered up with a blanket in the back of that car, I would think. I doubt he would let her sit up in the car, because then it'd be like, whoa, why is she in your car at noon when she's supposed to be at school and she never showed up to school? So he came home at 8:19, and then I think he just probably laid her down in the car and covered her up with a blanket. And there might even be some surveillance footage they're not telling anybody about that they have of him doing something in that car. We don't know. I know. I showed it yesterday, Zozo. I went over the whole documents yesterday. Let's see, my friend. Let's see. Gotta turn on the live chat. Yeah, at the very end, I played it on the screen earlier today. I showed it, so if you want to go zoom, you can read what was said. I didn't read it. I don't feel like reading those kinds of things. Right. But it's easy for me to... I can give her the benefit of the doubt because I know that they've known each other for 8 years. And, you know, maybe it was just sort of normal what they did all those years. And then but he had an ulterior motive and fooled her. Now, wouldn't be shocked at all if she's known the whole time, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just saying she hasn't been arrested for anything yet. And, you know, maybe she's going to get like some sort of immunity. But it could just be that they can't find anything on her. She said, and she's explained everything, you know. I don't know. Everyone wants to find other boogeyman. You know, once you got Stephan Sterns arrested, now everybody wants to, okay, that's boring now. We got to find, okay, now let's go after. There's definitely, it looks more bad. It looks worse now for her, right? It looks worse. See? We caught on camera carrying her lifeless body. Well, I don't know. That's the thing I'm saying. That's what I was wondering, if there's another surveillance footage that shows something like that. Because obviously at one point her body would have had to been moved to the vehicle. But I think after it was moved to the vehicle, it stayed in the vehicle all the way up until 1:30 or so the next day when he had the flat tire. That's what I think. So driven all the way over here, and I think prior to that, so at 8:19 she's still propped up in the car to make it look like, or maybe at 8:19 she wasn't propped up. Maybe they could just see that she was lying in the vehicle and they don't think she's alive at that time. And then the vehicle likely doesn't leave again because that's his car. So I'm not sure why he's saying all the stuff about going to vape shops and everything. I mean, maybe he did go to a vape shop and had her body in the back of the vehicle covered up with a blanket. I can't imagine him between 8:19 and noon taking her body out of the car in the broad daylight at the apartment complex. Thanks, Elizabeth Marie. And by the way, if you guys have a comment you want on the screen that we discuss, you send in a super chat, just like they do on Court TV with Vinny and everybody else. If you have something you want to say, just throw it onto a super chat. We'll put it up on the screen and discuss it. Yeah. Perhaps the friend's mom's brain, huh? Oh, perhaps the fried mom's brain dosing her with meds. Yeah, I mean, maybe Stephan Sterns would drug the mom. You know, give her some meds. I mean, he seemed like he was really into Ativan. You know, who knows what the mom had. But I'm not against talking about how the mom might be involved or know something. I mean, one of the people that I called, that was one of the friends, they actually called in, and he said that, you know, she was really into kinky stuff, and he was kind of wondering if she sort of included him with, or her with Stephan Sterns. I mean, that's what one of his friends said. But I mean, that's just total, you know, he just speculated out of his mind there. I don't know. it's not lost on me that Jennifer hasn't been arrested. Maybe she cooperated, or she isn't right in the head. Yeah. No, I don't agree with that, Zozo. You always say stuff like that. That doesn't make any sense. You don't lie for someone unless you have something to hide. Yeah, well, what she does is she just believed him. Okay? I've already gone through this thing 100 times. Listen. So originally, she's making up lies. She says stuff like, oh, yeah, we took him to school. And then she realizes, well, I didn't really take her to school. He did, but I was asleep, and I don't want him to get in trouble because my daughter might have ran away. And then it's like they're going to blame him. So she's over there defending him. She's not hiding something. She's just saying she's, she's helping him out in the story. She's not hiding something, though. And then when she said 8, that time when she said she saw her getting ready at 8 in the morning, that is a time when there was she's absolutely she's saying something she knows isn't true. The other time she's just saying what he said, but he trusts him and would say it. Right? So when people say, oh, she's hiding something, what's she hiding? That she was part of she killed Madeline too, and she was just, she's obviously covering for somebody, But she might not have known she was covering originally. The 8 o'clock comment was the first comment that diverged from just sort of her repeating a story that Stephan Sterns would have wanted her to say. Right? The 8 o'clock one is her literally saying, yeah, I saw her getting ready at 8 in the morning. And she knows she didn't see her getting ready at 8 in the morning. But she's saying that because maybe he said, hey, listen, you were still asleep. I took her to school. Can you just say that at least you saw her? Because they're not going to believe me. I'm the one that's in trouble here. And she's willing to lie for him. She's not like hiding something she did, though. Now, I know you can say whatever you want, and I can say whatever I want back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can say back with the same thing. I can, you know what I mean? I can comment back the same. I don't agree with you. She wasn't hiding something she did. I think she's more likely she's hiding, she doesn't know what really went on and is willing to throw some stuff in there for Stephan Sterns. Doesn't that make sense? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, we already said that part. Yes, then we're at that point. We're at that part then later where she let a grown man sleep with her kid, right? That's why I said yesterday that now it makes her look worse, but it still could be where they've been with each other for 8 years. So that means when she was 5, they were with each other, right? They were with each other all those years, and maybe it just sort of seemed normal-ish to her. And Madeline was groomed by Stephan, so she didn't say anything to the mom, right? And then just everything seemed normal, like, oh, yeah, it was great, yeah, we used to. I'm just saying it's possible because she is not bright at all. She's, I think Jennifer Soto is kind of like a dunce. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but let me just ask you this, though. Here's the thing, DM. So what you guys are talking up there is, what if you had somebody you were dating for a long time and you absolutely trusted the hell out of them, and then they drive your kid to school and they go off, and then all of a sudden the kid goes missing. And they said, hey, I know I dropped him out. Wouldn't you repeat the story that he told you? Because you would just believe it? Because you I'm just saying, if you're with somebody for that many years, it seems like you would default to trusting what they were saying instead of just going, oh my God, you must have done something. I know, she said if she saw her at 8. I already told that. I've said it 100 times. I know all of the things. She hasn't been arrested yet. At 8 in the morning, she said she saw her getting ready for school. That was her saying something that wasn't true. That was the only, well, I guess that's the only time that she said something she knowingly said wasn't true, was that she said she saw her getting ready at 8. Now, he could have easily told her, hey, listen, they're not going to believe it. I took her to school. They're not going to believe her. You know, you need to say that you saw her getting ready because they're going to say blah, 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 blah. And she threw that out there. But that isn't true, right? So why she said that, I guess that will be the answer to, if she gets arrested or something, the reason she said something like that. I've said that since the beginning, and I've said that on Court TV. I've said the whole time, I go, that time at 8 in the morning, when she said that, that was the divergence from telling somebody's story. It's an absolute lie that you're saying that, because you know you didn't see her at 8 in the morning at all, right? Because not only that, he's driving back with her at 8:19, so it couldn't have been 8, because he was somewhere else, and he was at 8:10 on somewhere else, and I'm sure he's on other cameras in various other places. Right. Did you get married to a person that you thought would molest your future children? Married people tend to trust each other. Single mothers let their children sleep with them. Single fathers do too. Right. And in a case like this, though, he was considered, right, the stepdad, and he was there for 8 years. And, I think when we look at it, we go, God, that's weird. But I just wonder if somebody out there in the audience had a boyfriend that you had, or a person that's live-in boyfriend for 8 years, and everything was normal, and maybe every once in a while at the beginning you guys would all sleep in the same bed together, like a family, etc. And I don't know how that would be, because I'm not in that situation, but I'm just wondering what you would think. It's kind of weird to go, hey, I need to I've got anxiety, so why don't you go sleep in another bedroom together? That's strange, And the excuse is, well, she needs to be with somebody when she's sleeping. I know, she probably ended up saying she said that, Zozo, but on the news she's not going to say that. Hey, we dropped him off at school, and he said that he told me to, she's not going to say that. She eventually did say that he's the one that picked her up. Or, she had him pick her up and take her to school. And she's the one that took him to school. So the thing is once she said that, we knew everything that she said prior was obviously a story told by him to have her say. And by the way, guys, is there any chance you guys can help support the channel tonight? I'd appreciate it. We're trying to get to the goal on each and every night, and right now we are at something like 5%. When I was a child, I had a hard time sleeping alone. Up until I was 13, I refused to sleep alone. Yeah, so maybe you wanted to have somebody sleeping with you. But, I guess they would say, well, if you had a guy that was living in the house with your mom up until, from when you were 5 years old up until 13, and is there ever a time if the mom wasn't around, would the dad the boyfriend or whatever be allowed to sleep in the same bed because you knew that you couldn't sleep together? I'm not saying that's common at all, but I'm just wondering if you trusted somebody like that. Yeah. Okay, what if it's a biological father? Let me ask you that. Let's say it was the actual biological father in the house. And she said something to the effect of, wow, man, I'm having a hard time sleeping. And the biological father says, okay, we'll sleep in the other room tonight. Would that bother you at all, or? Okay, but what age would you stop then, Daphne? So there's a hard date. That one date you just go, okay. When JS kept looking up, she was trying to remember. Yeah, I know. We went over that 100 times, right? She kept trying to remember the story. That's what I said on my show multiple times. You know, she'd look up, she'd go, yeah, okay, what was it that he said? Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She'd always go like this. Yeah, he dropped her off at school, and then kind of stop right there. I'm just wondering though, if it was a live-in father, would that be okay? You know, like if you were sick and the child that's 13 was like, man, I don't want to sleep alone, you know? And would that be okay to go to another room and the child would sleep with the biological father in there? I mean, and by the way, why can't it be okay in that situation? He's a biological father. He is a... So you think it would be bad? So you're saying if you had a father you lived with, and your mom says she can't sleep very good, so and the daughter is one of those ones that can't sleep alone, you're saying, okay. But could she sleep with the mom after that, I guess? Man, so you guys are so sexist. It's wild. I mean, so you think that a biological father, just because her daughter is reached a certain age, he's all of a sudden going to get aggressive towards her or something? And, you know, I mean, you guys, that's kind of sick that you think that way. It's kind of disgusting, to be honest with you. So you're actually thinking a biological father is some sort of a pervert once your daughter reaches a certain age. Whew, wow. That's strange. Right, you stopped at that age, right, Amber? Yeah, you just didn't need to anymore. You probably felt safe. But what if there was, you know, like above, somebody said she slept with her parents till she was 13 because it made her nervous. Yeah, I mean, I guess it is, you know, I mean, when you say, is it weird? Yeah, I mean, I guess, kind of, I mean. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I mean, let's say she's a child that's scared. So like Zozo said right here, yeah, anytime a child is sick and needs to be monitored by a parent, I think there's nothing wrong with that. Right, but I mean, let's say there's a night where, you know, let's say a child, like the story up above, where the lady said that when she was 13, she needed to sleep with somebody. So you're saying that if the mother couldn't because she was sick, you wouldn't be able to have her sleep with the dad that night? I don't know, man. I think guys, I get the whole problem out there, but man, I just think that's crazy. I mean, a biological father. And what do you think? You guys have that low opinion of them that they would just go out and start, doing something with their own kid just because they had an opportunity to? It's kind of sad, really. I got to be honest with you. Hey, thanks for gifting the memberships, Judy, and thanks, CaliGal3. Judy Grandstand. Let's see. Welcome to Yep. Pitbull Lover 22, Wild Bill, Wassman, Scooby Dooby Doo, and Tracy Smith. Right. Usually that's what they want. Right. Exactly. But I'm just saying, would there be anything wrong if they were scared and they didn't want to? Like, what if you were a single dad and you had a 13-year-old child that was scared? You know, the wind's blowing. She's like, "Oh God, can I sleep in here?" Is that bad? Or, you know, I just don't understand. It's his kid, you know. He's going to protect her. Man, the way people think about this now is just, I think the true crime world is just jaded people's brains a little bit. Yeah, we know, Cindy. We know they do sometimes. It's really rare comparatively, though. Okay, but if they're now that the mom's there, it's not okay though. I mean, okay, that's just kind of weird. So if the single father has a 13-year-old daughter and it's scary outside, and they run over and they jump into the bed, and they're like, hey, can I sleep in here? All of a sudden, oh my God, that dad's he's a freak. But then if the mom's there, then some people say, okay, that's okay in that situation, though. They might say. But then if the mom's there, oh, then it's not okay. That should have defaulted to the mom at that point. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's kind of freaky, to be honest with you, that you guys are so, like just believing that as soon as a girl hits puberty, that all of a sudden the dad just goes nuts, Yeah, I mean, I think you're like a boyfriend, but he was called the stepdad there. So, I mean, I think it's definitely not as normal for me to, if you have a stepdad or a like a boyfriend or something. Like Stephan Sterns was either a boyfriend or a stepdad. But it's also, it's also shitty that there's always suspicion on stepdads like that too. We've seen all the cases where that exists, though, but there's also thousands and thousands of households out there where it's not like that at all. Not even close. And so it's just kind of sad that we're in a world that we have to think like that. Okay, Cindy, you're nuts, okay? You're a crazy person. Cindy said, I don't think kids should sleep with their parents, period, after the age of 4. I mean, you're a lunatic, all right? Does anybody agree with that one, that you shouldn't sleep with your parents after the age of 4? Everybody, come on, that sounds great. Yep, the evil step-parent narrative. Yeah, Daphne and Cindy are like on the same, they have a little team, they organize prior. Yeah. Yeah, it does exist out there. It does exist out there. Yep. It does exist. There's evil people out there. But it's not going to stop those evil people. The evil biological parents it isn't going to stop them, even regardless if you let somebody sleep in somebody's bed or not. They're going to use their opportunity to do whatever they're going to be doing. All right? But that's not the norm. Ah, Jesus. Hey, no, you can't do it, Zozo. Look at Cindy up there. She just said you can't have it. There's no way you can let him sleep in your bedroom after the age of 4. Forget it. Man, we're gonna track you down now and start tagging and. All right, there's where we're at right there on the goal for tonight, you guys. Can you see that? Right there, at the bottom of the screen there. Any chance to get that moving a little bit? My daughter came home from college and I snuggled in bed with me. Yeah, but if she snuggled with your husband, it would have been, oh, Jesus. Anybody at all? My son is 9 and has autism. He won't sleep alone. He slept with me until he was 8. He now has his twin bed next to his sister's. Okay. All right. Awesome. Yeah, Paula, you don't have to do it. I mean, it's just the same. I'd like other people to help support the channel than the same people over and over. Although I appreciate you doing it, it's like everyone else just kind of, forget it, Yeah. Would not let my daughter, maybe it's what I'm saying people don't like, so it's like, forget it then, just like the cancellation culture. I think it's okay to sleep with your parents, but the dynamic changes when it's a step parent. Yeah, I mean, it does, but it's also kind of, if you had somebody that's been there for 8 years already and they're the stepdad, maybe there was enough trust in there where everybody, it just felt like a normal family, but maybe the person had motives that you never noticed behind the scenes. Hey, thanks, Dallas Rose. Thank you. Huge difference between sleeping with your parent on occasion. Well, it wasn't, I don't think they said every single, well, it sounded like she kind of liked to sleep with, at least that's the wording they used. I don't know if it was every night, though. She had her own room. Mm-hmm. Thank you, lighting their way home. Yeah, you wouldn't let your, yeah, I wouldn't, I would never allow that. I would, like I've actually dated somebody and, their daughter, like they'll have a daughter and they go, hey, and they kind of jump, they try to get close and I feel awkward, like, hey, I don't know, I don't want to be this, I don't know, I haven't been around long enough, But I just feel like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be anywhere near that. I mean, I don't try to like shove them away or something. I just be like, hey, I try to come up with something else. Hey, thanks, Uncle Rico's Camper. And then Kim T got a membership for Diana Swap. I know, isn't that weird? Yeah, see, Sweet One, this right here is it. This is it right here. This is it right here. I mean, this is the answer, what you're looking at the screen right here. If you don't trust your spouse with your kids, why are you with that spouse? And that's the reality of it. Like if you're going, God, I don't want my kid sleeping with my husband because he might do something. Why the hell are you there? I mean, why in the hell are you in that relationship? And that's exactly what she's saying right there. But, yeah, I mean, the recent revelations make Jennifer Soto seem more culpable, like there's a better chance of there being something. Now that we know that what was allowed and so forth at home, and and then now you add that to the 8 o'clock in the morning, you have that. It's seemingly more culpable. However, she hasn't been arrested yet, and she might have an explanation that law enforcement believes based on evidence that they can see, but they were not aware. For example, Jennifer's mother probably, and friends, everybody around might have some insight into stuff that was going on, and it sort of defends what she was saying, although they would defend her because they're her family. But hey, thanks, Brennis Bratt. I think Jen was so desperate to keep Stephan Sterns in any capacity that she sold out her own daughter. You think so? She couldn't be that dense. Right, so you're saying that, she wanted to keep him, so she almost basically trafficked her daughter to Stephan Sterns. But see, don't you think that grooming is, the reason like Stephan Sterns, grooms, or any of these predators groom somebody, is to get them to do stuff with you but not say anything to anybody. So it's possible that it just all seemed normal. Like we get up in the morning, let's say a night she slept with Stephan Sterns, Madeline, and in the morning she's like, Mom might have said, hey, how'd it go? Yeah. Oh, it was great, Mom, because that's what she was coached to say, and then everything just seemed normal. So, yeah, so the grandmother stated in an interview that Madeline didn't like to sleep alone. But wow, isn't that weird though? Is that something that the mother and Stephan Sterns invented, though? I mean, is that something that maybe they came up with to make it sort of seem somewhat normal-ish so people wouldn't question? Or is it something that was real, a real thing that Stephan Sterns took advantage of? See that name, ASDF, They just took their fingers on the keyboard and pressed it down. That's what they came up with. My grandmother stayed in a interview, grandmother, right. There are plenty, right. What have you been asking yourself? There are plenty of women who also trust and they never knew they'd let a monster into their bed. Right, and that could be Jennifer, right? Couldn't Jennifer be somebody that just absolutely trusted Stephan Sterns after being with her 8 years and sort of watching the interactions? It just seemed normal. And then she was willing to lie for him. I mean, it starts getting, when you start compounding stuff, you know, the 8 o'clock in the morning is something that always bugged me. But now you got just more information about how she would sometimes let her sleep in bed with Stephan Sterns when, you know, she wasn't feeling well. Or had anxiety, I guess is the term. Mm-hmm. Jennifer could be that woman. Right. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. I mean, it wouldn't shock me now. Either way, it actually, you know, like I've said from the beginning, it wouldn't be like, oh my God, it's shocking. It would be shocking if somehow, I would be shocked if Jennifer was somehow a willing participant in the murder. But her knowing about something, that wouldn't shock me, that she knew what was going on. That wouldn't shock me. It would be, I'd be a little bit, you know, surprised, like, oh wow, man, that's but you know, not too surprised. You know what I'm saying? It's just, there's enough stuff out there where you go, you know, the 8 o'clock in the morning lie that she knows is a lie. She did it, so she must be a little bit suspicious of him at that time. And then even when she was shown a picture that clearly showed, you know, Stephan Sterns' anatomy and his daughter, and her daughter, she was like, I don't recognize that. Mm-hmm. Something new said about the mom being, no, she wasn't charged. But she doesn't seem very bright. First of all, she's on medication a lot, and I actually think that Stephan Sterns picked Jennifer Soto because of who she is. You know, he kind of like profiled her in a way and just made sure that you know, that's exactly what he was looking for. Mm-hmm. I think there are different situations that married a father or mother might let them sleep with them, but always be aware of things. Right, but I mean, how many of you are married out there that absolutely love their husband, and you have kids with that husband, that you would feel like if your daughter slept in a bed with them one night when, let's say you had COVID and your daughter wanted to sleep with him, would you go, oh God, I don't know, man, this is crazy. Ooh, yeah, wow. And even if they were like 11, 12, something like that, where, you know, the kid was scared about something. Because if you don't believe that, you think that would be okay, you should get a divorce tomorrow from that person. Because, man, I mean, think about that. You don't trust your own husband, your biological husband that you've lived with for years. I would absolutely get a divorce if you felt like that. Like you think he might do something. I mean, seriously. So if you're in a situation where you actually feel like your husband might do that, then get the hell out of there. Quick. Right, PG, but apparently it's bad. Yeah, I see the difference, the stepdad thing, because he could have been using the whole marriage thing, and I think that's kind of like what Stephan Sterns did here. Basically kind of a common law husband type thing where they live together, and he... Right, exactly, Plato. That's exactly right. So it's weird when you see people judging that. I think that what it speaks to is your own relationships. The ones that are like, oh my God, this is like, that would be creepy. It really speaks to what you are going through with your spouse, and maybe you should think twice about that one. Yeah, I mean, every single night would be kind of weird, no matter what. But I mean, if there's a child that can't sleep alone and they freak out, like they hear noises, I mean, maybe that does happen. Come on, Katya T. Jesus, that's ridiculous. Jen was showing a pics from Google with both of them. Yeah, I know. We just talked about that, Joanne. We just said that literally 10 seconds ago. Ah, jeez, Cindy. Oh, God. Can you guys get rid of some of these comments, please? These comments are so asinine. It's almost embarrassing, So I'm gonna have to get rid of that one. Yeah, get rid of that one, and then Katya T. Let's see. Oops, just came in. Sorry. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Yeah, but what does that got to do with anything? It's just, what does it have to do with anything if somebody does have that at night? All of a sudden they're just going to start having sex with their own kid? I mean, that just sounds ridiculous. and you're not, I don't know, Jesus, man, you guys are way overthinking this shit. Bizarro world. No, it's not a true question. Your question is ludicrous, Cindy. What you typed in up there. No, it's not. It doesn't embarrass me, but it's just a stupid. It's like, hey, you make up with more. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it because it's so ridiculous. Did she stay with her grandma much? I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, I know. It's like they're just sitting out in the open. Their cat keeps on. They're just sitting there and just letting everything just show. And the kid's like, what is that? What's going on? And I mean, that's insane, you guys. Okay, well, then you're in one of those crappy situations, Katya T. There you go. There you go. What do you mean snuggling with that? Jesus, come on. God. Yep. How the hell do you even think like that? I don't know. I don't even know where that comes up in your mind. Like, how does it even pop into your head that topic? It's weird. Yeah, it's weird stuff. But I have to say it again, you guys. We're going to need some support on the channel tonight to try to get to that goal. It's usually pretty easy to get to, and if we could If you're out there and you're able to, that'd be great to help support the channel tonight. Wouldn't be a big red flag that he's having her tell lies. Yeah, I mean, but see, that's not really what it would sound like, Yvonne. So this is what I would, if it was Stephan Sterns, and I was gonna try to pretend to be like, what would he be like? He'd probably say something like, hey, listen, I took her to school just like you wanted me to. You weren't awake, and now she's missing. They're going to think I did something unless you say that you were with me and you saw everything too, right? So can you say that we took her to school and everything? Can you do that? And then later there might have been other questions. So then the next interview she said, yeah, or to the police she said, yeah, I saw her getting ready at 8 in the morning. And then what's weird about that one, though, is that's almost before the interviews on television, when she told police that she saw her getting ready at 8 in the morning. And that makes that more suspicious because, I mean, how did that happen? I mean, what made you say that? Was he already telling you to say something? Hey, you got to tell her that you saw her getting ready at 8, okay? Because it's going to look bad. You didn't come with me. It's your fault. You didn't wake up, and you should have done it, but you told me to do it. And, he's just totally blaming her. So she's willing to, because she trusts him, she's willing to take blame for things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see him, right, the way he is. I think that's kind of how he is. I think that's how he does it. Yeah, I think it's more higher risk when it's a non-biological father. I just hate the fact that stepdads get just reamed over the coals because they just happen to be a stepdad, even though some of the stepdads are way better than the biological father ever was, right? Mm-hmm. If you were dating a man and you allow him to sleep with your teen daughter in another room, I think there's something seriously wrong with you. Yeah, I think I agree with that, but this isn't the same thing as that, right? I mean, they were with each other for 8 years, and he was like even listed as a stepdad. That's what she referred to him as. Okay, so that's a little different than that, but yeah, I mean, if it was just like a boyfriend that you'd known for a month or so or a year, and you're like, hey, yeah, why don't you guys go sleep? That's ludicrous. I think everybody can see that. I'm just wondering where the cutoff is. But I'm going to go use the restroom here, and maybe I'll come back, and I don't know what more to talk about on this one, so I might be switching over to the Delphi. But I definitely could use you guys' support. You can see on the screen we're mightily struggling. All right, so if you're out there, by God, you can do it, man. You can do it. Yep, now I'm back. Well, apparently I got to sell my soul to get the support on the channel tonight. Oh, everybody. God, that Madeline, Jennifer Soto, boy, put her in prison, everybody. Come on. Put her in prison. Hey, come on, everybody. Hey, if you want to support the channel, that'd be great, everybody. Let's put Jennifer Soto in prison. What a monster. What a barbarian that mom is, everybody. She's the one. Oh. Yeah, I won't do that. I just tell you what I think. Yeah. Let's see. That was worse than a jerk. Well, I'm going to switch over now to the Delphi case. I don't have any more to add to that one. That's the sad part, though. It's like, I think if I was in here tonight just railing against Jennifer Soto, we'd probably be halfway to the goal. But because I didn't do that, it's like, I don't know, Gray. I don't really want to, forget it, Gray. Doesn't that suck? Because you can go to another channel right now, I bet, and they're talking about the same case, and they're all railing on Jennifer, and I bet it looks like a freaking bingo machine, like a slot machine in there. Yeah. You know it. All right, let's see. Yeah, right. Great, yeah. Look at it. Now I did a rotten to the core wicked stepmother that contributed. Right. Right. Thank you, Katya T. What the hell happened to the documents? Oh, there it is. All right. Well, we got a whole bunch of different documents here. Now we're switching over to the Delphi case. If you don't know the Delphi case, February 13, 2017, two girls, Abigail Williams, Liberty German, were on the Monenhigh Bridge trail system and went onto the Monenhigh Bridge, and some creep named Richard Allen followed them across the bridge and abducted them. There's video of the guy following them saying, guys down the hill. Nobody knew that for 5 or 6 years until they re-looked at the tips that were turned in, and apparently he came forward early on to get ahead of the story and said that he was there from 1:30 to 3:30 wearing exactly the same clothing as the individual on the bridge who was in the video that Libby took with her phone. And he said, Ginger snaps. Hey, thanks, Plato. That's not you flirting. Okay. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I always try to get rid of interest. I don't want to pay interest on something. I hate it. But hey, you guys, if you do have credit card debt out there and you have any other kind of debt, what you do is you pay the minimum payment on the lowest interest rate. You pay off the highest interest rate first. So if you have a card that has 19% and maybe you owe $500 on it, and you have a whole bunch of other cards, pay the minimum payment on all the other cards and hammer out that $500 card and get it the hell out of there, because that was 19%. Then do the same thing on the next lowest interest rate and just minimum on the rest, hammer the other one. Then once you get all the highest ones out of the way, then you just work on whatever you have left and get them the hell out of there. Does that make sense? And that was true what I just said. Isn't that wild? There you go. Take notes on that one with the notebook out there. And by the way, if you send $30 to my PayPal, you get a notebook with it's the Chloe notebook. This one right here. Yeah, right here. This notebook right there, you can see it. The Chloe notebook. It's pretty thick even. Comes with its own pen. Then I give you a blue pen. Oh, with this one. Here, let me show you these right here. Let me do it right now. So here you go. You get this. This is called, I'm selling merchandise. But actually, see, this is what it looks like originally. And then she stamps on it with her feet. You see? So then you get that right there, right? Okay, and then I have her stamp all over the back. Oh, that's an earplug that I stamp all over the back right there. That one was an error one, so I kept it. Then you get this blue pen here, which actually says freak on it with a little picture of me, I guess. And then you get this, the freak stress ball, okay? So that's what you get. And then I sign it and everything, send it in. So that's if you send 30. Now, if you live in the UK, you have to send like 40 or, I'd say like 45 because the shipping there is like just ridiculous. It's 20 something dollars, where in the United States it's around 5-ish, something like that. So there you go. If you want one, there you go. Yeah. I just did my sales pitch on it. And thank you up there to Cindy J. Say more Stephan Sterns new. Okay. Oh, no more. And then Woohoo Documents. Okay. And thanks, Melissa Teal. Maybe it was the topic we were talking about. Maybe that was it. All right, here we go. I'm going to do the... Comes now the affiant Richard Allen, by and through counsel, and swears and affirms the following are true. My attorneys have reviewed with me all the facts contained in the defense second verified motion to disqualify Judge Gohl and request for findings of fact and conclusions of law upon denial of this request in this court, if this court denies this request for findings of fact and conclusions of law upon denial. So why did you deny it, right? I agree with the facts contained. So this is Richard Allen talking. Does anybody believe Richard Allen can even speak? Like, I mean, we read the letter he wrote originally. It was like, me no have money, can need money for lawyer. It was horrible. So now it's like, this is Richard Allen supposedly talking right here. I agree with the facts contained in the motion and ask that the contents in that motion be incorporated into this affidavit. And this is Richard Allen again. Oh, they'll be more like this. Do you understand? While I down the hill, while I would like to believe that Judge Gohl can be fair and impartial, I believe that a rational inference of bias exists against me and more so against my chosen attorneys, and I fear that I will not be able to receive a fair trial based upon the facts contained in the first motion for Judge Gohl to recuse herself, as well as the new motion for Judge Gohl to rescue herself down the hill. Or recuse herself. I will not be able to receive a fair trial based upon the facts contained in the first motion for Judge Gohl to recuse herself. I would ask Judge Gohl to please step aside and let a new judge take over the case that will not show bias against my attorneys, or at least the appearance of bias. I swear and affirm that the statement I made herein are true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. Richard Allen. And that's his signature right there. Since the last motion for disqualification was filed, Judge Gohl has continued to show unfair treatment of the defense. As laid out in the motion, this includes the most recent event of sending a Sunday morning email informing the defense she was significantly cutting their time to present their case at trial and also telegraphing to the prosecutor legal strategy. The cumulative effect of all the examples of bias spread over the two motions took place well beyond the time frame originally required under rule. That must be. And this is Brad, Rosie, and Andrew Baldwin. Look at that signature, by the way. Jesus, are you kidding me? Hey, thanks, Ying Yu Burgess. Me have money, me give Gray. Gray good. Okay, that was pretty good. That was pretty funny there. I have to admit. Me have money, me give Gray. Gray good. Comes now, Gray Hughes. Remember that when Greeno typed that shit in? Comes now. Like nobody gave a damn what the hell you were saying, buddy. Alright. I'm going to skip to like these other shorter ones here because there's a motion to disqualify that's kind of long. This one is, now comes the state of Indiana by prosecuting attorney Nicholas McClelland and requests the court dismiss the defendant's motion to suppress filed April 11, 2024, in that it is too vague in violation of Criminal Rule Procedure 2.7 and in support of said motion states the following. The defense filed a motion to suppress on April 11, 2024, asking the court to suppress the statements the defendant had made while he had been incarcerated. These are his confessions. He confessed multiple times in one sitting to his wife and his mother. That the defense seems to imply that there are statements made by the defendant while he was incarcerated that were coerced by state actors during a custodial interrogation. Let's see. That the defense fails to put the state on notice which state actors coerced the defendant, failed to outline which statements they are seeking to suppress, fails to state how, they're not going to want to put that in a document either. We want you to get rid of this one where Richard Allen says, yeah, that's me on the bridge. And I told them to go down the hill, but then I went and played lawn darts over there and they went over across the creek. I didn't know where they were going. Yeah. That under Criminal Rule of Procedures 2.7, when the defendant files a motion to suppress, the defendant must clearly state the items or statements to be suppressed and the basis for the suppression. So they're saying he failed to state how the defendant was coerced in a custodial interrogation setting and fails to outline the basis for that motion. Number 5, that the state contacted the defense and requested that they fix the deficiencies in their motion, but the defense refused to give the state any guidance on their motion to suppress and refused to comply with Criminal Rule 2.7. Thank you, Michelle H. And Wendy Van Rokel. That the defense has failed to outline which statements they wish to be suppressed, who the state actors are that coerced the statements, and the basis for the suppression. Wherefore, the state requests the court dismiss the motion to suppress filed by the defense on April 11th. And these are all like today, like at 5:17, just a few hours ago, really. All right. And move on to the next one here. I'm going to drink some of this. This is lemonade. Ah, God, that's good. Cold, too. Did you get some ASMR out of that? That's Country Time, 0 calorie. Well, I guess 5. Very concerning that the state lost all those recordings. I don't think so at all, Pamela. I know it is to you, but that wasn't even part of their investigation. Like, they looked at it early on, they go, oh, this is a joke. Yeah, they had nothing to do with it. So 5 years later, they're all, oh, where are those things? Yeah, those guys are all just, okay. See, so here's the thing. Here's what Pamela is saying right here. Watch this. I'm going to put it up here. It's very concerning that the state lost all those recordings of other suspects interviewed in the first 15 days of investigation. So what you're saying is that they had these really viable suspects that they believed were the killers, but somehow didn't want to pursue that for some unknown reason. You know what that reason is? Is that there's odinists that are buried inside the FBI, the Indiana State Police, the Carroll County Sheriff's Department. They are everywhere. Okay, you understand that? They're everywhere. And so these people decided to bury the real killers that were these odinist freaks. Okay, they wanted to bury those people. So what they did was they just completely buried that, but at the same time, they had to quickly act. They had to do this on the first day. They had to go, okay, first day, they go, okay, yeah. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, whoa. I can see the way where the bodies are found. That's an odinist. We don't want it to be on one of them because we're odinists too. So hurry up. There's this weird guy that works over at CVS Pharmacy. Go run into his house tonight and quickly eject some bullets from his gun. And then what we need you to do is plant him in the ground, maybe on the 14th, late in the day, or like late in the afternoon, or 15th, and then we'll find it miraculously, and then we'll sit on it for 6 years. We'll just let it sit there as all the investigation. We spend millions of dollars investigating, and then we'll pretend that we came up with this lead out of nowhere that led right to a guy named Richard Allen, who happened to be the one that we pinned it on all those years ago. Come on, you guys. All it was, they probably lost it because it didn't mean a damn thing. There's these odinist guys that these other people were looking at. It didn't lead to a damn thing. No, but he wasn't their suspect, though. That'd be like in the O.J. Simpson case. They look at some guy named Bob Smith, and 5 years before, and they thought, well, that guy looked pretty. Look at that weird stuff he's doing, and then they go, oh wait, no. Well, maybe you would actually believe that one because he was found not guilty. He isn't part of the case. The odinist people aren't part of the probable cause for Richard Allen. That's all that matters, right? Why does it matter some random stuff that they looked into before that they didn't consider to be suspects? I don't understand why that matters to people. Yeah, okay. Well, why don't they just re-interview those guys if you want it so bad? The irony, Odinist part wrong, but some collective idea group. Huh? I don't even know what you're talking about, Basil. You type a better sentence than that. That's one of the most god-awful sentences I've ever seen. It just doesn't even make any sense. Let's see. The irony. Odinist part is wrong, but same collective idea group. Right. Do people not know how many people are interviewed? Right. I mean, you're supposed to keep everyone for 5 years, like these. I mean, I get it. Like, it'd be great if they were still around, but there's narratives about them, too, So maybe the videos got lost. I know that you want him. Hey, listen, Pamela, I get it. You believe Richard Allen's innocent. I get it. Okay, he's not. Richard Allen is the killer in this case. I know you want to get him off on a technicality, maybe have him over for dinner sometime, but he is the killer in this case. He is the guy on the bridge, 100%. And I thought it was kind of cool because even his little supporter admitted that he was the guy that went across the bridge. And so did his, the attorney that was just speaking on court TV, the bald-headed guy that was the temporary attorney that's like, oh, I totally believe it. He said, well, it looks like that the evidence shows that he was at the bridge during that time. Oops, he accidentally said it. He accidentally said that that's the reality, that it wasn't 12:30, it wasn't 12 to 1:30, that he actually said, oh, he was there during the time. Don't worry. Hey, Pamela, I know you want him to get off. Don't worry about it. It's okay. You'll get your shot, Why don't they? Because he didn't, Pamela. So you don't even know the case. I don't know what channels you've been watching or what your problem is, but you said they have a vested interest in only showing their point of view. If he is BG, then why didn't they arrest him when he came in that day? What day? Which one are you talking about? They arrested him in 2022, right? When he actually called the tip line because he wanted to get ahead of the story, and they sent Dan Doolin out, and they met in some parking lot somewhere, and Dan Doolin jotted down the notes of what he heard from him. That's it. And somehow Dan Doolin was more focused in on getting to figure out who the three girls he passed were. Hey, we got to find those three girls who were around that time. No, I'm not missing the point, Pamela. You don't explain it well. That's the problem. Right? Yeah. Everybody always says that. If we want, hey, everybody, that's why people are donating to Richard Allen's defense team. They just want a fair trial. They don't think he's innocent, though. They just want to send a killer of two girls money to have a fair trial. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I don't know. There was like the footage. I guess the videotape interview is missing. Right. I mean, I could see a scenario that like this, like they I don't know. You just realize that, oh my God, there's these crazy people that are going to pretend that Odinus is part of this. The Julie Melvin wackos of the world, those types who believe that stuff. Yeah. Because that guy just wasn't dumb, Pamela. That's why. Dan Doolin was just some guy going, he didn't even think of it. He wasn't wearing the same clothes then, and he also didn't tell Dan Doolin what he was wearing that day. He just said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. He walked the trails, and he was checking a stock ticker. And he said, yeah, I saw three girls, though. So, it didn't ring a bell, and it was just later. Man, your question is so naive sounding. It's just weird. Strange stuff, man. You need to go back to school or do something. Wild. Really weird. Whew. Okay, yeah. I wouldn't even be mad if they intentionally go, oh, let's get rid of this crap, because they're going to pretend this is the case. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's just like, let's just figure out a way to get rid of this crap that has nothing to do with it, but they're going to pretend it does. Because if it did, don't you think that they would have made an arrest back then? Hey, Pamela, go on to a different channel and try to sell your stories. It doesn't work here. I'm sure you're loved in your normal community, okay? All right. Thank you. Let's see. So this is another one. This is the motion to continue hearing on all matters currently set to be heard. So this is what's supposed to be heard May 21st through the 23rd. 3 days of hearings. All right. But hey, you guys, if you're out there and you want to help support the channel tonight, take a look at the goal there. That's how far we're on in the goal. If you'd like to help try to get us to there, that'd be great too. We're just going to continue to go through these documents. All right, thank you. All right, so this is Richard Allen again. Comes now the accused Richard Allen. And through counsel of Brad, Rosie, and Andrew. You mean, and Andrew Baldwin? You just said Andrew. Look at that crap. These guys are so incompetent. It's just amazing. Yeah, comes now the counsel Brad, Rosie, and Andrew. We're all buddies with him, so we don't need his last name. It's like saying, Trump or something. Nobody needs anything else. You already know who we're talking about. This is just Andrew. And moves this court to continue all pending motions. Oh, cool. You got your 7 miles in. Awesome, Broken Scott. Currently set to be heard. It says Beard. Man, you're backing these guys, Pamela? Look at these idiots. Look at this. Don't even put Andrew's last name. Then they say currently set to be Beard instead of Heard. All in one paragraph. Wow. Yeah, you keep repeating yourself, Pamela. I'm going to have to put you on timeout now, unfortunately. Because I want to get on to something else. Your comments are boring and just not really... They're just the same thing over and over again. Yeah, we heard you. We heard you. So to save the chat from having to read the same comment over and over and over again, we'll just time you out for a while. And when you come back, if you have something new to say, that'd be great. Following a brief hearing on May 7, 2024, in which the jury trial on the matter was continued. I mean, sometimes I make mistakes when I'm writing my title of my show really quick, but this is a court document. Brad, Rosie, and Andrew. Yeah, so following the brief hearing on May 7, 2024, in which the jury trial on this matter was continued from May 13, 2024 until October 14, 2024. At that same hearing, the court set several pending matters for hearing on May 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. During that May 7, 2024 hearing, the accused counsel indicated that they would be filing a motion to disqualify Judge Gull and at that time had a prepared motion that they intended on filing that day. However, I'm not sure why you're putting number 3 with however, However, certain issues have arisen both during and after the hearing which have caused defense counsel to add to the motion that the defense has prepared. The defense has therefore been adding to that motion as well as re-editing the motion, taking additional time to prepare the said motion for filing. Also, the new motion required Richard Allen's signature, and because Richard Allen has been moved back to Wabash Valley Correctional Facility, it is logically difficult for Richard Allen to review the document and sign the document so that it comports with the legal requirements of a request for disqualification. Richard Allen has just signed the documents as needed, and therefore the defense files its motion to disqualify at the same time as this motion to continue next week's hearing. As the court is aware, at the time Richard Allen petitions this court for change of venue from the judge, this court will be without jurisdiction to do anything other than rule on the motion. Additionally, the defense is requesting Judge Gould to issue findings of fact and conclusions of law if she issues a ruling denying the defense motion to have her disqualified. Therefore, Judge Gould will not be able to conduct a hearing or rule on any matters until she has reviewed the motion to disqualify and entered findings of fact and conclusions of law. So they want her to go over her own removal first before she determines anything. Jesus. Let's see. Hey, look at that. We have somebody bought a notebook. Yeah, very cool, very cool. Additionally, on May 15th, 2024, and that was somebody named Christina. Thank you. Additionally, on May 15, 2024, the state of Indiana just turned over a new phone extraction that had been conducted this past weekend. The defense received possession of that new phone extraction less than 1 week before the motion in limine. You know what's amazing, you guys? The trial, today should be the second day of trial. Or maybe the first day. I think Thursday was a photography. Yeah, so like today would be the first day. But they told the judge when she moved it 5 months, they go, well, just 3 weeks. We just need 3 weeks. No way, man. These guys aren't even close to ready for anything. The defense received possession of that phone extraction less than 1 week prior, or 1 week before the motion in limine hearing was set and needs more time to review the phone extraction data. Thank you, Heather Gaines. Baffle me with the BS or dazzle me with your brilliance. That's BS from the defense. Baffling. He is guilty. That's right. Ah, that's good. Man, when was the last time you guys had lemonade? That's good stuff. The defense received possession of that new phone. We just read that. Based upon a quick review of the phone extraction, it is likely that the defense will use the new phone extraction as part of its evidentiary presentation, arguing against the prosecution motion in limine to not discuss third-party suspects, as it appears that the new phone extraction provides favorable evidence for the defense. It doesn't, though. But the defense needs additional time to review the entire phone extraction in order to be prepared to argue against the prosecution's motion in limine. Hey, thanks, Jim Lawn.
Hey, Allah, hey, Allah.
Ron Pexa. There we go. That the new phone extraction provides favorable evidence for the defense. But the defense needs additional time to review the entire phone extraction in order to be prepared to argue against the prosecution motion in limine. Additionally, the witness who extracted the phone data last weekend has indicated that he will be issuing a report on his findings as well as investigating matters identified by the defense that the defense believes provide important information concerning third-party suspects. Right, the Odinist. The defense would therefore request that, at a minimum, the hearing on the motion in limine be rescheduled until after the aforementioned report is filed, as it would be judicially economical to hear all the evidence for the motion in limine at one time in one hearing, and would additionally prevent the court from prejudging the evidence presented until the evidence can be presented at the same time in the same hearing. The trial has been continued until October 14th, 2024, which should provide an abundance of time to find new dates to conduct said hearings. Right, and you'll probably... I mean, how many of you guys think this trial is going to happen in October based on the way these guys are doing this? Since Judge Gold cannot rule on any motions until after she rules on the defense motion to disqualify, it could be judicially economical to continue the matters scheduled for May 21st through the 23rd. So they want to continue. They want that hearing moved now until after Judge Gohl has a chance to review the motion to disqualify and issues the findings of fact and conclusions of law should she deny the defense motion. So she has to come up with, findings in law of why she isn't going to disqualify herself. 17, and then right it says, the prosecution has been contacted and does object to this request. Wherefore, the accused Richard Allen files his motion to continue the hearings on all matters currently set to be heard May 21st through the 23rd, 2024, and all others just and proper relief. Okay. And here's another document. This one says, defendant's motion for continuance reviewed and denied in part. So this is from Judge Gohl. I think she's saying defendant's motion for continuance reviewed and denied in part. So she denied part of the continuance. The court scheduled this hearing at counsel's request, who all indicated they would make these dates work on their respective calendars. The court will conduct hearings May 21st through the 23rd on defendant's motion to suppress second statement filed April 15, 2024, state's objection to defendant's motion to suppress filed April 15, 2024, defendant's motion to compel and motion for sanctions filed April 23rd, 2024, defendant's motion to vacate safekeeping order filed May 13, 2024, state's motion in limine filed April 28, 2024, and defendant's response to state's motion in limine, as defendant is not prepared to address his motion to suppress filed April 15, 2024, and the state's motion for admissibility. Those matters are continued and will be reset at the conclusion of hearings May 21st through the 23rd. So what's the motion for admissibility and the state's motion? So they want I think it was the confessions admitted. So maybe those are continued. I don't know. And here's another one. This is by Fran Gohl too. Defendant motion to vacate safekeeping order set for hearing May 22nd, 2024. So it's going to be included in those dates. To vacate safekeeping. I think that's the... All right, so he doesn't want to be kept under maximum security anymore at a prison. Right? So they're going to talk about that too during this time. All right. I'm trying to figure out, what do I need to do tonight to get us to that goal? Do I need to stand up and dance a jig? Get on one foot and spin around like a... Man, I don't know. I just know what it takes each month to be able to keep doing what we're doing. That's why I constantly try to get to our goals. There we go. Hey, look at that. Little Puppy Paws got a notebook too. Very cool, very cool. Well, all right. So this one's, well, that was one we just, wow, what the hell was this one? Oh, this is another one. State's response to the defense motion for Frank's hearing. Okay, so, like the defense keeps trying to do the Frank's hearing. I'm sure there's people So here's what the Franks motion was. It was the defense thinks that because the prosecution left certain things out of the probable cause document, that the search warrant shouldn't have been allowed because they didn't say certain things or talk about odiness. I mean, it was really the most ludicrous thing I've ever seen. They ruled out odiness. Their suspect is Richard Allen. The probable cause is about Richard Allen, not the odiness. But somehow they think that because you left out the odiness, that would have made the judge go, I think, man, that doesn't meet the burden. Probable cause is only 51%. Okay, I'm dancing the jig right now. Could you hear it? Pixie Blue? Please dance a jig. I didn't say I was doing it. I said, do I have to dance? Yeah, sorry about that, sweet one. The spaghetti stain is the most ludicrous thing I've ever seen. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, we actually have this spaghetti stain as one of our emojis, if you can believe it. It's right here, look. Right there. See that right there? That is Richard Allen's spaghetti stain as one of our emojis because it looks a little bit like Elvis if you look at it. It's got a couple like glasses, the head on sideways a little bit. Hey, thanks, Nikki Zubs. Yeah. Okay, so this is the, let's see, this is, I think this will probably be pretty interesting here, this one. So thank Nikki Zubs and Pixie Blue. Now comes the state of Indiana by prosecuting attorney Nicholas MacLeod and files its response to Richard Allen's fourth Franks motion based on newly disclosed evidence and request for hearing referred to by the state's defense fourth motion for Frank's hearing. That is, I mean, look at these guys. They just give it up, you guys. The Frank's hearing again for the original. Thank you, Gene Darcy. And request for hearing referred to by the state as defense fourth motion for Frank's hearing. That is, that as in the previous three Franks motions filed by the defense, this fourth motion illustrates a complete misunderstanding of the ruling in Franks versus Delaware and the purpose of a Franks challenge to a search warrant. The defense makes the same allegations in this motion as it has in its previous three motions. Hey, thanks again, Ying Yu Burgess, to stop dancing. Okay, I kept dancing that whole time. It's like, tired. The defense makes the same allegations in this motion as it has in the previous three motions that Sheriff Tony Liggett. Don't you guys think that's insane that they keep thinking that they just rush to pin it on Richard Allen because Tony Liggett wanted to have a win so he could become sheriff? That just sounds so stupid, you know? It's ridiculous. Let's see. Previous three motions that Sheriff Tony Liggett failed to advise the judge of material facts that without these omissions, the search warrant would not have been issued. Right, that's what you think. The defense consistently, in the three previous Franks motion, have misstated. Oh wait, so this is from the state, right? So this is like, see, they're doing their fourth. This is the response to it, all right? So the defense has put out their fourth attempt at the Franks motion and the Franks hearing, and the prosecution is now responding to that, right? So defense motion in paragraph 25 contains a list of information that the defense asserts should not have been omitted from the probable cause affidavit for the search warrant. However, the information is either irrelevant for probable cause purpose or wholly inaccurate. The state has addressed most of these inaccuracy facts in previous replies to Frank's motions. The new topic that the defense focuses on in the fourth Frank's motion is the AT&T pings. Where's Zozo? I think she wants to hear about these ones. The defense includes in this motion information about pings generated by AT&T on February 13th, 2017 through February 14th, 2017. The defense also includes statements made by Sergeant Blocher, or however you say, Blocher or Blochet or whatever, where he was consulted by Steve Mullins about the pings. The information in the motion shows that the defense does not understand the information contained in the pings and then exacerbates the problem by mischaracterizing the statements by Sergeant Blocher. Further, contrary to what the defense motion states, the defense have known about the pings well before the April 26th discovery disclosure. When AT&T pings a phone, they will send a signal from the tower nearest the cellular device to that cellular device. From the time it takes the signal to reach the device and get back to the tower, they will determine a location of that device. So they actually can do that. The time, so that would be the distance. The location can be accurate at times, but can be completely inaccurate at other times. If the tower cannot make cellular contact with the device, then the ping data will show a historical data location. That means the service provider will show a location from the historical data collected from the device. It is the last longitude and latitude collected from the tower when it had good service with that device. That is not a pinpoint location. The location given comes with inaccuracy range anywhere from 400 meters up to 2,500 meters. These inaccuracy ranges can differ based on several factors. A tower can lose contact with a device because the device runs out of power or because a device loses cellular service. Law enforcement use this as a tool in certain cases to attempt to locate a cellular device. It is not always an accurate way to locate a device, but can be used as a tool to help determine the location of a device. That's it. In our current case, when the girls went missing, so this might be interesting right here. Yeah, okay. It says, in our current case, when the girls went missing, law enforcement contacted AT&T and asked AT&T to ping the cell phone of Liberty German. This was done in an effort to locate the girls. The pings came in from AT&T every 15 minutes. That means that AT&T would send an email to law enforcement every 15 minutes showing the ping results of pinging Liberty German's phone. Each ping will give a longitude and latitude of the device with a radius estimate and the source of that data. The location data is not a pinpoint location, but can range in accuracy based on the radius estimate and or based on the contact that the phone had with the tower. If the phone did not have contact with the tower, the longitude and latitude is based on, the last time it pinged. latitude based on historical location data. So that might put them on the bridge even. In those cases, there will not be any accuracy range because the location is based on historical data and not live data. So what they're saying is like this. Let's say when Abby and Libby were walking across the bridge and their phone pinged, right? And so that pinged off the tower, and let's say it got, let's just pretend it was latitude 5, longitude 6. Okay? Let's just throw that, just random number. It doesn't mean shit. And then later, the phone dies, and they try to ping the phone, and they don't get something, so they put in historical data. So the phone could be 50 miles away even, and it would still say, if they use that tower to ping off of, it'll still say, latitude 5, longitude 6. Because it just sort of puts a filler in there. It's the last known ping information. That makes sense, you guys? Please say yes. That means the service provider will show a location from the historical data collected from the device. It is the last longitude and latitude collected from the tower when it had good service with the device. That is not a pinpoint location. The location given comes with an inaccuracy range anywhere from 400 meters to 25,000 meters. Those inaccuracy ranges can differ based on several factors. A tower can lose contact with a device because the device runs out of power or because the device loses cellular service. Law enforcement use this as a tool in certain cases to attempt to locate a cellular device. It is not always an accurate way to locate a device, but can be used as a tool to help determine the location of a device. In our current case, we already went over this part, I'm just reading it again. In our current case, when the girls went missing, law enforcement contacted AT&T and asked AT&T to ping the cell phone of Liberty German. This was done in an effort to locate the girls. The ping came from AT&T every 15 minutes. That means that AT&T would send an email to law enforcement every 15 minutes showing the ping results of pinging Liberty German's phone. Each ping will give a longitude and latitude of the device with a radius estimate and the source of that data. The location data is not a pinpoint location, but can range in accuracy based on the radius estimate or based on the contact the phone had with the tower. If the phone did not have contact with the tower, so while they were on the ground down below, and maybe Libby's phone was turned off or went dead, when it didn't have that, if the phone did not have contact with the tower, the longitude and latitude is based on historical location data. In those cases, there will not be any accuracy range because the location is based on historical data and not live data. So it just immediately fills it in with the last known. So here's what could happen. Let's say you're driving down the road and let's just throw it on a map here. This isn't it. Here, I'll show you. Yeah, so let's say Libby was driving her phone, or Kelsey was driving, right? And they're right here. And right in this spot right there, Libby turned off her phone before they even got to the park, the Monon High Bridge Trail, I mean. So let's say she turned her phone off right there, but before that, it pinged off of the cell tower right there. Okay, and then she goes to the park, and then later on, they're looking for him, so they're pinging the phone. It's going to keep putting in the same information it got when it had the last known good ping. Does that make sense? Hey, thanks, Jim Lawn. 1.21 gigawatts. What the hell is a gigawatt? Yeah, let's see. All right. Thanks, Jim Lawn. Look at that. We're making progress. We're maybe at almost 50% now. All right. So hopefully that made sense to everybody. Okay, the defense deposed Indiana State Police Sergeant Greg Edwards on February 27, 2024. The defense presented the AT&T pings to Sergeant Edwards for his review. Sergeant Edwards explained the data in the pings to the defense at the time. Sergeant Edwards stated so those emails begin coming in, and you've got this text block that has to do with, again, the case ID or the number, and they've assigned it to AT&T, has assigned it to it. You've got the mobile number, so the phone number that is assigned to that device that they currently pinging, and we can see the last 4 digits were 7599. Confidence level, they might put in whether or not that was a high confident location for it, meaning that they had a lot of good information coming in from the device and from the tower network to say it's really close within this area. They might say it is a low confidence area, meaning that it is quite large, or here they aren't even listing a confidence area. So I don't know what to say about, this is like a quote here. So I don't know what to say about that confidence area. Sometimes the confidence level, they'll have a size in meters, so that this is within 1,000 meters. We believe that the device is somewhere within 1,000 meters of the geolocation. So that's what they'll list in the confidence area. That the latitude and longitude, so they give you a latitude and longitude coordinate, so you can plot that on a map, and then radius, so they give you latitude and longitude, and then the radius, so you can make a circle and say it pinged inside of this circle. It's not on the latitude and longitude. And then radius and, location accuracy unknown. So they didn't give us, that's why they're so confident level. There's no number of meters from that geo point that associated with it. And then data source is telling us that that's coming from historical records. That's not coming from the device like live and active. They've provided information that's coming, providing information that coming from. They're going back and they're collecting information from the historical call detailed records. Sergeant Edwards later says, with AT&T, part of the reason why it says historical here is that if they say, all right, we're going to ping that phone, but they can't get to the phone, well, then they'll use the last known location from the historical records. So that is different than the live ping. It's going back to historical records saying we can't find the phone right now, but here's where we know it was last. Okay, that makes sense. So you might end up having like a million. So a phone could be in an area. That's kind of sucks though too. Like you have a phone in an area and it pings, and then let's say a killer turns off your phone and they take it with them. Then it would seem like the phone was still in that same area because it would keep trying to ping and it would go, hey, it's here's the last known location, but it's not really there. I don't know if the phone still has to be there, if they can detect just the fact that there's a phone. I don't know. Wow, is Sharon Gornick here? That's crazy. How's it going? I think we're at like 50%. I have it on the screen there. Well, the goal. I always have it like 250, right? Because YouTube takes their cut, and then I donate about 33% of the entire gross income from the channel. But most of the nights it's better than the 250. It's just that's what I have as sort of the minimum. You think when you have like 400 or 500 people, it should be sort of easy to get there, but some nights it isn't. But how's it going, Sharon? I actually texted you today. I was like, hey, I haven't seen it in a million years. Oh, there you go. Well, Plato can type it in. Plato filled you in up there. I don't know if you got that or not. I cannot read the screen. Oh. Sorry. Lanky Tor, 52 months. Look at that. Man, that's there's got to be, I think Zozo's up in that range too, right? Something like that. I think this is pretty interesting. PayPal does somewhat, but it's also part of my, it's like I'm selling merchandise over there. I mean, it does help. I kind of consider it. But if it's just a direct PayPal, then I would make it one part of it. Look at that lanky Tor. Because I'm selling the Chloe notebook. It's a different thing. It's the YouTube revenue. Ding, 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 ding. Right. Look at that. Lanky Tor gifted one to Louis, Susan, Lee, Y Wonder, VC, J Marie, 0817. Well, thank you. Very cool. This is pretty interesting, though, don't you think, you guys? This information? A little bit techie, but... Sergeant Edwards later says with AT&T, part of the reason why it says historical here is that if they say, all right, we're going to ping that phone, but they can't get to the phone, well, then they'll use the last known location. Why don't they just say we can't contact the phone? Like why? Yeah, I don't think they should put in the last known ping. It's kind of dumb. The ping emails collected all show historical data. Right. That means they couldn't find the phone. That means that the tower could not find... Oh, there you go. Look, next sentence. Could not find the phone at the moment the ping was initiated. So it just gave the service provider the historical data location. That doesn't mean the phone wasn't in the area or that the phone wasn't in working condition. It means that the tower could not contact the phone. And by the way, down below where the girls were found, there's a hill that would sort of block the site of the cell tower. So that might have caused some connectivity problems. On the bridge, it's a little bit better. That historical data continues through all the pain. Sergeant Edwards did his best to explain to the defense the information on the ping returns. He attempted to explain to them how pings work, what the longitude and latitude data means, and what historical location means. The defense still does not understand how to interpret the pings from AT&T. That's because they don't want to know. They want to pretend. What am I looking at? What am I looking at? Oh, you got a matching challenge? What is it? What is it? I don't see it. Oh, notice, matching. What is it? Let's see. What is it? Hi, Gray. No, I cannot read the screen. What's the challenge? What's the challenge? Notice. Matching challenge. All right, what is it? What is it? I don't see it, so if from this point on, if people send in 100, you'll match 100. Wow, well, that's very kind of you. All right, you guys. So there it is. If you guys get to 227, she'll match that. Not that, but 100 of, just the 100 that gets us to 227. That would be sweet. Well, thank you. John's injuries not been caused by a car. Huh? What are you talking about? Maybe it's too late, though, in the evening. People are like, yeah, forget it. Yeah, right, match up to 100. Right, so I guess if 50 more come in, we just do that, I guess, if you want to. But thank you. So you guys, you can double your support. You send in 10, it's really 20 because she's going to double, or up to 100. So up to 227. All right, so this says now we're at this part. Sergeant Edwards did his very best to explain to the defense the information on the ping returns. Hey, look at that. So that's already 60, really. Hey, very cool. Sergeant Edwards did his very best to explain to the defense the information on the ping returns. He attempted to explain them how pings work, what the longitude and latitude data means, and what historical location means. The defense still does not understand how to interpret the pings from AT&T. The pings from AT&T show the location of the phone through historical data. That means that the tower is not contacting the phone. God, these guys are dumb. Hey, thank you, Paulette Leonard and Yingyu Burgess. Go team. And there's Cindy maximizing that one. The defense then goes on to mischaracterize Sergeant Blocher's statement contained in Steve Mullen's report. Sergeant Blocher reports that from his evaluation, the last contact the phone had with the cellular tower was 5:54 p.m. on Friday, on February 13th. The record from AT&T show that there has been no contact with the tower since then. So that means that the location it got at that time, that would have had to have been like down below, where the crime scene was. Or, where the phone was found. Thanks, Osiris Stewart. And Cindy J. Lisa Valenzuela. Yeah, I mean, that's what we've talked about that many times, Truth Sleuth, is, obviously when he says he was looking at stock tickers, that should have generated a ping, and it could it'll verify at what time he was there, or it'll prove that he lied when he said he was looking at a stock ticker. Because there's no way he could contact the phone, contact a site to look at a stock ticker without getting contact with the cell phone. I don't know how to just send a soup. Don't you you click on the little dollar sign and then it says super sticker, super chat, membership gifting. Never did this. There we go. Now we're caught up now. 173. The 227 was the number, right? Sharon? Yeah. All right. So the defense then goes on to mischaracterize Sergeant Blocher's statement contained in the Steve Mullen report. Sergeant Blocher reports that from his evaluation, the last contact that the phone had with the cellular tower was at 5:44 p.m. on February 13th. The records from the AT&T show that there has been no contact with the tower since then. From that information, he determined that the phone was no longer in the area or no longer in working condition. The defense wants this to mean that the phone is not in the area from the evening of February 13th, 2017 until the morning of February. God, they want to do the whole thing where they were taken and then moved back? That is not what it means. It means that since the pings were only showing the historical data location, the phone was not having contact with the tower. Sergeant Blocher explained that could be because the phone was not in the area, but it could also mean the phone was not working. This is consistent with the pings collected from February 13th, 2017 through February 14th, that the pings are giving an estimated longitude. Well, at least he's saying, for the defense side here, the guy did say could mean that it's not in the area, or it could mean that it's just not working. This is consistent with the pings collected from February 13th through February 14th, that the pings are giving an estimated longitude and latitude based on historical data location information, not live pings. The information is consistent with information in the probable cause. Thank you, Michelle H. And how far are we away now from the 27? Like 50 away from the matching. The information is consistent with information in the probable cause. The information that we have is that the girls were dropped off at the trails around 1:30. Well, it's actually not really 1:30 though. It's 1:50 really. So that's not accurate there. Just to be fair. Thanks, M. Jordan. It wasn't 1:30 on February 13th. That's when Richard Allen got there, but the girls got there at about 1:49 and probably got to the trails at 1:50. On February 13, 2017, and that at 2:13 p.m., their kidnapper ordered them down the hill. There is no evidence that the girls were even taken from the area or that they were brought back to the area later to be murdered. Every indication is that they were ordered down the hill and then murdered soon after. The historical location data from the AT&T pings does not mean the phone was not in the area during the evening of February 13, 2017. I mean, whoever thought that? Remember, the father even said he tried to call her and it went straight to voicemail, like it wasn't working. Don't you guys remember that part? I guess the defense missed that. Hey, thanks, Ying Yu Burgess again. Come on, guys, nearly there. See? And M. Jordan Jarding. And he got there at 3:14, actually, like 3:11, 3:15, and he said all the calls started going to voicemail. This data is outlined. Okay, so it says, let me just bring that last part. The historical location data from the AT&T's ping does not mean the phone was not in the area during the evening of February 13, 2017 until the morning of February 14th. It is another example of the defense taking information and stating that it means something that it doesn't. This is consistent throughout all their Frank's motions. I think this is why the judge and just everybody is fed up with the defense team, because they are incompetent. They're being called incompetent because they are, and the judge realized that early on and actually thinks other attorneys would do a better job at helping Richard Allen because they would actually understand something. And these guys, they're just unethical too, right? I mean, it's a never-ending thing. Thanks, Louis. Now, people might think, wow, these attorneys are doing great. Look how but it's all smoke and mirror bullcrap. When this gets to trial, they are going to be smoked at this trial, these two attorneys. You want to see? No, that is exactly why. She said that it would be in the best interest of Richard Allen if these two attorneys weren't his attorneys. And maybe, you know what it might be? Because the other attorneys might actually try to cut a deal because she can see the writing on the wall in this case. You know, the information is clear. And they're going to try to sell some other garbage, and, you know, he'll probably end up, you know, I don't know if I think the death penalty is probably on the table in this one. I don't know if she's ruled on that yet. All right, so it says the state has outlined the test used in Franks in its prior responses. In order to have a Franks hearing, the defense attacks on probable cause must be based on deliberate falsehood or acts of reckless disregard for the truth, and those allegations must be accompanied by an offer of proof. The claim should point out specifically the portion of the warrant affidavit that is claimed to be false and should be accompanied by affidavits of or sworn statements or reliable statements of witnesses. The defense must show that there is inaccurate or omitted information, that probable cause is lacking. But I mean, even if you could prove some elements, it could be, well, these other elements were enough as well to get me to 51%. So even if you could prove, well, she didn't say muddy and bloody, I mean, was that even really a big deal? I never even cared about Sarah Carbaugh's comment. It doesn't matter. The rest of the information proves that Richard Allen is the guy on the bridge. There cannot be, I mean, the only way he's not the guy on the bridge is some elaborate scheme that he plotted with somebody else. It's ridiculous. Hey, look at that, you guys. We're only 25 short of the total amount that Sharon Gornick was so kind to match. The state has outlined the test used in Franks in its prior responses. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we already went through that. So it says, defense must show that there is inaccurate or omitted information and that probable cause is lacking if the omitted information is... Yeah, there you go. That's what I was just saying. It means that there still isn't probable cause if we omit the thing that you don't want in there. Franks versus Delaware. Herein, the defense claims omissions, if included, would negate probable cause for the search warrant. That's just not true at all. The defense has not met its burden. The omitted information from the AT&T pings does not negate the fact that Richard Allen places himself on the bridge. And by the way, why haven't they put more effort into going after the muddy and bloody comment? You know? Why haven't they gone forward with that? You know why? Because I guarantee you that later Sarah Carbaugh, when maybe questioned again, went, you know what, man, now that I think about it, that looks like it could have been like blood that was there. Because there was this stuff on his face. You know, there's probably another thing like that she said, and she did say that, but they're going back to the original comments and trying to make it seem like that they left that out of there. Look at that, it's Nikki Zubz. There you go. There it is, Sharon Gornick. They nailed it. Boom, chakalaka. Look at, she even said boom too. Boom. All right. Yeah, thanks a lot. That was very cool. This has been really interesting for me to read this. So basically, if you have like 10 facts and they're all in the probable cause document, and like when I read the probable cause document, I'm like 100% convinced that Richard Allen's the killer because it's that good. A lot of people don't think it's good. I think it's freaking amazing. Even though I've seen better ones, this one is amazing for what they have. And so if you removed a couple things, like, I have said, it would change the level if you change, like, okay, Betsy Blair, she saw a guy that was younger, but, when she was shown a picture of the bridge guy, she said, yeah, that's the guy. I just think her memory is incorrect. She didn't know that she had to remember somebody that day. And so I think she just saw, it was 50 feet away. The guy was standing on platform 1. She turned around before even getting to the bridge. And they're looking at fish, apparently, right? So that means they're looking sideways. So how do you get a really good picture of their face? Thank you, Peter. So let's say you take that out. Yeah, she didn't really say that, so that's not really the guy they described as different. Okay, the muddy and bloody guy. Yeah. But you still go, well, look at that, though. He said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. He passed those 3 girls. The 3 girls sighting, to me, it'll always get you past the 50% threshold every single time. Because that means it's him coming in. And he sees 3 girls because one of the girls was really small. And only 3 are witnesses. Now, you'd have to believe that there's 3 other girls out there that got there at noon and saw him but never came forward. And then later, there were 3 other girls, or 4 girls, but one of them was small, that they saw a guy that looked just like him. An hour and a half later, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. I think it's right there. Well, thanks, Sharon. And that'll do it. But, it doesn't, if anybody else wants to help, that's great too. It's just, it is what it is. We got there, though. We got there. Beat it. And, part of the, when you're buying a notebook, part of that goes towards, like, I would, probably put like 10, 15, or 10 each out of those into the goal. So that would make it like 242, because I'm actually buying, I have merchandise with an amazing Chloe notebook. So thank you guys, everybody bought the notebooks. I appreciate that too. You merch. You're such a merch. All right, let me continue here. Yeah, the defense has not met its burden. The omitted information from the AT&T pings does not negate the fact that Richard Allen places himself on the bridge. Look at, I just said this, right? At the same time that Liberty German took the video of Bridge Guy, who ordered the girls down the hill. So that's interesting that they say that he places himself on the bridge. I just think he factually has to be. I mean, I'm hoping they're using the same logic stream that I'm using. Just like he places himself on the bridge, because he does, right? He walks straight from the bridge to the trail. He got there, he passed the girls at about 1:34, takes 10 minutes walking quickly to get to the bridge, and that would put him in there at 1:44. Betsy Blair, when she got there at 1:47, She would have passed him had he left, but he didn't. And when she gets to the bridge, he's standing there on platform 1, and that would be about 1:53. She turns around, walks back, passes Abby and Libby, and they're going to meet up with him at about 1:58 or 9, and then they take that one picture. That means he walked back down the trail a little bit, but he didn't leave because Betsy Blair, as she was walking, didn't see him again because he stayed generally in the area, right in the woods, right off the path, maybe about 100 feet back, and you couldn't see him in the picture of Abby. And that, I think that first picture, wasn't that 202, the long shot? And then 207 is the shot of Abby. You don't see him, and then he starts following after that. It is him, 100%. There is no other chance that it's somebody else because there were people acting as clearing agents. And in fact, let's see. Well, thank you. Let's see. We've got, well, thank you so much, Sharon Gornick. Very cool. And thank you very much, Sandy Shirley. And also got 2 notebooks ordered. So that was cool. Do you want a notebook, Sharon? Let me know. I'll send you one. Right. Thank you for doing that. That was very kind. So didn't I explain it right there, you guys? I mean, just right there, it's really simple. Very, quickly worded. Very simple. He gets his, and a car matching his vehicle drives by the Hoosier Harvest Store at 1:27. The girls that I just mentioned that he passed, the 3 girls, they have a picture taken out of bench at 1:26 as they're leaving, which proves he got there. Now, what's amazing, too, is those same 3 girls prove as clearing agents for his other claim of being there from 12 to 1:30 because they were at the bridge at 12:43, but if they came in the way they came, it would have taken them 15, 20 minutes the way they walked, probably even longer. So they probably got there at 12:15 or so, and they get to the bridge at 12:43, maybe even 12:20. So if he was there, they didn't see him at all. They didn't see him at all when they were walking on the trail over by the bridge. They didn't see him, and only until they were leaving. So it actually verifies, those 3 girls verify that Richard Allen told a lie in October 2022 when he changed his story. He lied to law enforcement, which is legal to do, but it proves that he lied in that interview. The same information that the defense team put out there so gloriously, like it meant something. He just said he was on the trails from 1:30 to 3:30 and that he saw 3 girls. That's when Dan Doolin should have said, "Yeah, we know you're out there. Here's a picture." And he would have said, "Yep, that's me." Well, thank you so much, Sharon. That was so very kind. And thanks for the people, everybody that ordered the, let me put that in there. Let me say. So it was earlier, WNC Granny, and then also Christina and Lil Puppy Paws and Sandy Shirley and Sharon Gornick on PayPal. Thank you so much. Yeah, he was Truth Sleuth. You didn't listen to what was said. That's what he said in his interview in 2022 when he was asked. He said he was on platform 1. He didn't tell Dan Doolin that. He just said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. And I think he might have said he went to the bridge. I don't remember exactly. I mean, I could find it really quick. Hold on. Is that it? Yeah, it's right here. Mr. Allen was on the trail between 1:30 and 3:30. He parked at the old Farm Bureau building and walked to the new Freedom Bridge. While at the he did. There it is. He did walk to the bridge, he said. While at the Freedom Bridge, he saw three... Well, that's the Freedom Bridge, though. That's the first, the new bridge, though. So he saw three females. He noted one was taller and had brown or black hair. He did not remember the description, nor did he speak with them. He walked from the Freedom Bridge, there he goes, to the High Bridge. He did not see anybody, although he stated he was watching a stock ticker on his phone as he walked. He stated there was a vehicle parked at the High Bridge Trail, however, did not pay attention to them. All right, so that right there it shows that he made it to the bridge, that he didn't mention that he was on platform 1. This is where he says 1:30 to 3:30. In October of 2022, Truth Sleuth, he said that he went to the High Bridge and then he went out onto platform 1 and was looking at fish. And he also described what he was wearing, which is exactly light blue pants, dark blue Carhartt jacket with a hoodie and some sort of head covering. Isn't that amazing? You know what I'm saying, Truth Sleuth? Or what? Streamlabs doesn't show correct total. Yeah, that's because I can't update that. It is 232 that have been done in super chats, but the PayPal makes that 332. So that came in a separate place. All right. So let me just finish down here. Hey, thanks, Rad Story. So it is accurate. That only can count. Streamlabs can only count the super chats that come in. There's no way for me to just add something onto it. It just automatically does it. Somehow it can read. So that makes sense. Lisa, your cat is fine. Well, thanks, Rad Story. That got it even on the screen we got there. That was sweet. Okay, let's do the last part again here. Okay, the defense has not met its burden. The omitted information from the AT&T pings does not... I think we already got there. No, that was it. The omitted information from the AT&T pings does not negate the fact that Richard Allen places himself on the bridge at the same time that Liberty German took the video of Bridge Guy. That's wild. Who ordered the girls down the hill. Further, Richard Allen admits that he was wearing clothing matching the clothing that the Bridge Guy was wearing that day. Along with other eyewitness testimony and the other evidence gathered, establishes probable cause that Richard Allen is Bridge Guy, and he... Yeah, you know what's cool is they're sort of sounding like me now. You know what I'm saying? I think they got... I'm not just saying this. I actually think that... I think they're kind of seeing... Like, hey, I don't know. Do I sound crazy if I say that maybe one of them heard how I keep saying this? Because I have said this sentence 1,000 times, that he is Bridge Guy. Along with the eyewitness testimony and the other evidence gathered, established public that Richard Allen is Bridge Guy, and that he is the one who kidnapped the girls. I say that exact sentence right there, like literally. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, that exact sentence right there. And that at the very least, he's the one that kidnapped the girls. I wouldn't be surprised. I've sent videos like, hey, what do you think of this? Never get responses, but wouldn't that be amazing? Because that is exactly the same. Why would they even use the word Bridge Guy? Why not just say Richard Allen is the person depicted in Libby's video, and therefore the one who I don't know, some store somewhere in a parking lot. But man, that's so crazy. That's exactly my wording right there. Instead, probably that Richard Allen is the Bridge Guy, and he's the one that kidnapped the girls. I mean, I literally have said that 100 times on this show. Wherefore, now comes State of Indiana by prosecuting attorney Nicholas C. McClellan and files their response to the defendant's fourth motion for Frank's hearing and would ask the court to find that the defense has not met its burden to warrant a Frank's hearing. The motion contains nothing more than their beliefs about the AT&T pings, what it means, without an understanding of what that data means. And by the way, they could have easily came up with that same wording themselves. I'm just like, whoa, that's so cool because it's exactly the same wording that I use. I mean, pretty wild, to be honest with you. The facts in the affidavit are true and accurate and are supported by evidence collected in the case. Sheriff Tony Liggett relied on that evidence when drafting the affidavit for the search warrant as the best reliable information known to him and related to Richard Allen at the time of the request. That there are no inaccuracies or omissions in the probable cause for the search warrant that are of a material nature, and the defense argument that law enforcement dishonestly is pervasive and... See, listen to that. That's just exactly the thing. There are no inaccuracies or omissions in the probable cause. See, that's crazy, right? Because, they have Betsy Blair saying something, but obviously later on she must have changed it. That there's no inaccuracies or omissions in the probable cause for the search warrant that are of material nature. There you go. And it is true, too. The fact that Betsy Blair doesn't see him the same doesn't take away the fact that that is Richard Allen. That is him. There's no inaccuracies or omissions in the probable cause for the search warrant that are of material nature, and the defense argument that law enforcement dishonestly is pervasive and relates back to the affidavit in question is not supported by sworn statements, affidavits, or other reliable statements. Wow, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I just got to read that again. That's crazy. Probable cause that Richard Allen is bridge guy. See, why say bridge guy? Two, you know what I mean? Like, that isn't what they say. They call him, like, this is how I would think they would have worded this. They would have said, let's see, bridge, up here it says, further, Richard Allen admits that he was wearing clothing matching the clothing that bridge guy was wearing that day. That along with eyewitness testimony, the three girls, and other evidence gathered established probable cause that Richard Allen is the individual depicted in Libby's video, and he is the one who kidnapped the girls. You'd think they'd say that, but they kept saying bridge guy. It is a lot easier, but I think that's one of the most unfortunate monikers ever created in the true crime world. Like bridge guy, No wonder, maybe if we called him the evil barbarian, the people out there that are all pro Richard Allen would have been less likely to, be so, oh, God, he's innocent, everybody. I mean, bridge guy, hey, he's the old hot dog guy down at the, yeah, I remember that too. It's so stupid. I remember I kept arguing with people, but it stuck and it never went away. Bridge guy. It does make it kind of easy just to sort of refer to it, All right. I'm sure he'll keep calling him bridge guy. I mean, it's easy. Everybody knows who you're talking about. It's kind of when you're saying bridge guy, you're saying the person in that image that Libby took. Say that and point out how Richard Allen never saw it, ran into the bridge guy because he is a bridge. Right. I know, it's so weird. I said the exact sentence. Richard Allen is bridge guy, and he's the one that abducted the girls. And that's exactly what I always say, because I remember even in that last video I made, I said that exact whole sentence there. And I said, I have to admit I can't say he's the one who killed the girls physically, but all the evidence shows that it was him and him alone, and he is the guy on the bridge. So I even made that distinction that he is the person who kidnapped the girls, and I can't prove that he is the killer himself with the information that I have, because maybe there was some other person there. However, he's the one that abducted the girls, and that led to their death. And there's no evidence suggesting that there's anybody else other than him, so I think that'll be proven too. Can I get a boom? All right. Guess what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to go through my little thing again with the animation. So I think it's a perfect time for that, given what we just saw. Come on, open up, open it up, open it up. All right, here we go, here we go. Okay, here's the three girls. Now what we could do is you could actually move them all the way back like this and pretend that's the three girls right there. And then when they came into the park, they're like, they're going the other direction, but they come into the park and they get there at 12:43. They take a photograph. Let me get rid of the picture on the screen. Oh, you said that, David? Yeah, isn't that wild? I do like send links over there, hoping someday they'll see something that they go, hey, because I would love to do like an animation or something. I wouldn't even charge them to make an animation. Like something like this is really valuable. If you can get a clock up at the top that can go back and forth and move around. Let's see. A second, hold on a second. Yeah, so look at right there is the three girls, right? And they took a picture at 12:43. I've seen the picture. Then there's another picture here. I think I saw that one too. And then there's another one here at 1:26. So there's a whole bunch of time. They're just hanging out. Like, who knows how long they were there before they took that picture. These girls could have been there at noon, right? I mean, 12:43, let's say they got here at noon. They're just doing the same slow walk, just hanging out, ding, ding, ding. They get over the bridge, they take a picture at 12:43. But Richard Allen's second statement was that he got there from 12 to 1:30. These girls here didn't see him. Wouldn't they have seen him at some point during that whole time, especially that walk back? How come they didn't see him anywhere? And they only saw him after 1:26. There's a photograph at the bench here. They're walking out, and we can just move the animation. Here comes the girls. The three girls are coming. And right around here, look at this black car here. A car matching the description of Richard Allen's 2016 black Ford Focus. And look at it. Drives by, and it's going to park right here at the abandoned CPS building. Right here. And then it pulls in. It drove by 127, the Hoosier Hardware store, backs in. I'm going to say after, parks the car. He likely gets here at about 1:33, 1:34, because he has to walk. See, he's walking down this path here that I showed you guys on the 360-degree video that I made. It comes down like this. And then now these girls are probably walking from that bench area that they were at. And we'll just speed it up a little bit. And then right here, the girls will pass the Richard Allen. And he passes them. They see each other. He's got his head down. He's leaving. So it verifies that he got there at 1:30. And now he's walking down the path. And those girls are, just kind of hanging out still. They're not really hustling anywhere. And here's Richard Allen making his way down. Now up here, those girls are just about to cross over the State Road 25, And that's Betsy Blair. She looks up and sees those 3 girls. Then she comes around like this and is going to park right here. Watch. So Richard Allen has just made it to platform 1 there. And here comes Betsy Blair. She's going to pull into the parking area here. He say parked at the side of an old building, truthfully. And that's the only old building that's there. He originally said it was the old Farm Bureau building. That's downtown Delphi, so it doesn't make sense. So look, she got out and started walking. Then Kelsey pulls up in the same spot. She even remembers seeing the car there. And then Abby and Libby get out, and they're walking slower than Betsy Blair because she's exercising, and they're just there to walk around and hang out at the park, take pictures, or meet up with somebody. We don't know how that all transpired. So here they come, and then she's walking a little bit faster than them. And Richard Allen is down here. I think Richard Allen would have got here about 1:44. Betsy Blair would get there at 1:53, so about 9 minutes total later. Had Richard Allen walked this way, she would have ran into him because he'd have to have sprinted past, so she wouldn't have ran into him. So anyways, she makes her way, and she turns around right at the start of the bridge right here, which is 50 feet away from Richard Allen, who's standing on platform 1. Then turns around, and Betsy Blair is going this way now. She didn't hang out there. She just saw him, turned around, and quickly went back the other way. And then on her walk, she remembers passing who she believes was Abby and Libby. I mean, that's just creepy as hell, isn't it? So she walks and then passes Abby and Libby. Now, Betsy Blair continues to walk on the trail. I believe she went to the Freedom Bridge and then back to her car. The timing is absolutely perfect. And so there comes Abby and Libby. And watch, here we go. There's Richard Allen. And right then, he sees them coming. They probably went, wow, that guy's creepy. And then he walked over here and he stood back there and waited. That's why you don't see him in the images. And then right there on the second platform, or third platform, platform 3, Libby takes a photograph of Abby, and you can't see him back there. Just prior to that, Libby took a photograph of the whole length of the bridge that way, and you couldn't see anybody. Therefore, he's hiding back here. Then the girls continue to go, and then at a certain point, he starts hustling across, and the video is 43 seconds long, and it was at 2:13 when, who knows when, was it 2:12 and some odd seconds when it started? Don't really know, but he'd be back about in this area. And then Abby was still on the bridge, and he almost caught up to her. She got behind Libby, and then he gets behind them and has them, takes out the gun, says, guys, down the hill, and then brings them over here. But check it out. Right at this point, Betsy Blair is just getting back to her car. She gets in it, backs up, and then drives away. So there you go. Her car's driving away, and look where Richard Allen and Abby and Libby are right here. I mean, that's nuts. So at this point, there isn't a soul in the entire park other than Abby, Libby, and Richard Allen. Betsy Blair is taken off, and that's it. Now, after this, just within like a half hour or so, other people started showing up, even one named Cheyenne who crossed the bridge and met some friends over here, like 3 o'clock, 3:15, took a photograph over here. And there it is. But can you see how it can't be anybody other than Richard Allen? Like, he got there, he passed the 3 girls, and he said he went straight to the Monon High Bridge. So that means he would be there at 1:44. And then Betsy Blair, who pulls up to the Mears parking area at 1:47. So if she got out of her car and walked there, he would have had to sprint by from the bridge to get past her. But of course, he was looking at fish, so he was going to be hanging out there for a longer amount of time. Anyways, there you go, you guys. That's it. I mean, does anybody have any questions that you think, well, what about this? I mean, I always want the trolls, not the trolls, the anti-state government side, the ones that think Richard Allen is absolutely innocent. They never have an answer for any of this. They just want you to don't use your brain and start thinking about Odinus. That's the truth. But what about that one guy? How come they lost the video? Yeah, but it's Richard Allen, okay? Yeah, well, it's actually a 3D. I took this is very painstaking. The way I did this, I had to take, like when you go to Google Earth, I had to take a square that this big, and I'd slide over, and I took like 40 huge, massive images from Google Earth, and then stitched them back together, just using my eye. Really painstaking stuff. And then I put them all back together to create the same map, and it's a huge texture map that I put on into 3D Studio Max onto a plane so that it still has some clarity to it. I mean, look at that. It's crazy. What would happen if I just rendered a single frame? Yeah, I mean, see how clear that is? It's way clearer than what it even looks like on the screen. Watch. Here, I'll show you. See those houses? See that? Look at that. Look how much clearer that is after it was rendered. See that? There's no blurriness to it. Yeah, they took forever. Yeah, everyone on, the trolls always say, "Oh, that gray guy, he doesn't work hard. He doesn't." They're just full of crap. I mean, if they actually knew, what they don't realize is that after shows, a lot of times, I'll spend hours looking into something. I mean, me and Zozo were both looking up this, that shirt in the crazy shoe case that was out there. The shirt that was found, it had certain words on it, and we were getting pretty close. But then somebody else, and then I think she got a different image of it, and it showed a word a little bit better, and they were able to determine that it was from Double Diamond Plumbing and Heating, Grand Valley, which is Grand Junction, since 1993. Okay. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. I should have said boom. She put a boom in there, but I didn't put a boom back. Yeah. I don't know what that means, but we were going to try to look up to see if somebody was missing that had that shirt. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about corruption, everybody. It's corruption. This was all done to get Tony Liggett elected as sheriff. All the rest of it is fake. Tony Liggett, knowing he was going to run for office 5 years prior, stole a bullet from Richard Allen's house after he ejected it from Richard Allen's gun. He was wearing a balaclava and an entire cat suit when he went into the house to eject that bullet. Then, knowing that there was going to be a murder by two Odinists who also work in there that were going to help him get elected, he put the bullet at the crime scene, unbeknownst to anybody else. Then years later, when he was about to run for office, finally, he then produced the individual named Richard Allen, who miraculously owned the same bullet that he planted in the house wearing the cat suit and the balaclava all those years ago. Can you say conspiracy? Yeah. Pretty much nailed it, huh, you guys? Do you know if investigators could go back 5 years to check for pings from... Yeah. They've definitely done that. What they did was they did a data dump. They get the entire cell phone stuff, the pings off the cell phone, and it's in a database. And now, after they made the arrest, I bet you anything that they've taken some of his phones, and maybe one of those phones showed activity. Maybe he had a burner phone or something. I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to go on? But I mean, only dumb criminals have their cell phones with them while committing a crime. So I'd be actually shocked if he had his cell phone with him. Although he seems kind of dumb, so maybe he would. I mean, he did say that he went there with his cell phone, and that he was looking at fish, and he was not looking at fish with his cell phone. He was on a stock ticker on his original conversation with Dan Doolin. So that would mean that he didn't say that in the second one, though. He said he went to the bridge to look at fish. So I wonder if he realized, I don't want to say that again because I really didn't have my phone with me. So maybe he didn't have his phone with him. And that would be a lie that he told. So why would you tell us you had your phone with you looking at your stock ticker, Richard? Your phone didn't ping anywhere near there. How come you told us that? Well, he said he had his phone to Dan Doolin, but then he said he didn't say he had his phone when he was talking in 2022. He just said that he was looking at fish. He didn't say anything. But he did say it back then, so that should be able to prove it. I mean, if he did use his phone to look at the stock tickers, it would prove where he was that day. If it doesn't show a ping from his phone that he was using, then that means he lied about checking his stock tickers. Because the only way he could look at his stock ticker is if it communicated with the cell tower. Thanks, K-Me. Man, how long have I been on here now? Well, almost exactly 3 hours and 4 minutes. So I think, I think they'll definitely get him on disprove or prove some stuff with his phone there, Sharon. For sure. But yeah, they just, I think you can go back a long ways like that too, but also they collected all that information back then. The FBI did. So, and maybe technology has improved over the years, so they've been able to collect even more data. Dan Doolin dropping the ball. I just think it sucked. I mean, that case. I mean, what was his name? Robert Ives told me, or in our podcast that he did years ago, he said, "Man, we thought this case would be. We have a picture of the person. We have the voice. We thought this would have been solved in 2 weeks maximum." And it probably should have been, right? I mean. Dan Doolin should have been, used his brain a little bit more. Wow, I talked to this guy. It was he said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. And maybe that is that guy. Well, we should look into him more. Or think about it later. Hey, did you guys ever look into that one guy that I talked to who said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30? And I don't know. It bugs me, though. I don't know if he just didn't know what he was doing. I think, he was a conservation officer, so maybe he doesn't think criminally like that. He's thinking about fish. Thank you, Rad Story. Well, you guys, I don't have much more to offer tonight. You guys have any comments or questions or anything? Or the Map King, proving trolls wrong every time. You gotta make that rhyme somehow. Yeah, I think geofencing is kind of that term, the data dump thing. You grab in all the pings that came in and you still there, Sharon Gornick? Hope I answered the question. Oh, there it is. Oh, yes. So Richard Allen claimed he has his phone and was using it on the bridge. Yeah, exactly. So it either proves he was or lied, and I'm suspecting that it'll be on. If he did have his phone, it would prove that he was there during the 1:30 to 3:30 time. And you know what I think, you guys? I think a lot of this stuff exists, and the defense knows it exists, and that's why they're trying to remove, like the Frank's hearing, the Frank's memo thing that they're trying to put out, or the Frank's hearing they're trying to get set up to get the original search warrant thrown out, is because the fruit that was bore from that tree is massive. I mean, I bet you there is stuff that they got off of the search warrant, the phones, devices, looking at his computer, etc., 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 that are just really damning pieces of information that, of course, the defense will never bring up because it doesn't fit into their whole Odin story, and the prosecution doesn't bring it up because they're not supposed to, you know? They're actually doing it the way they're supposed to do it. Hey, welcome, David Barlow. Let's see. Grant Hughes' work is stellar and often astounding when you consider the forensic quality and amount among the overall and so-called true crime genre. Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I always think that. It's weird how I like in the Idaho 4 case, my work, my videos and information I've put out, you know, not to toot my own horn, but it's way better than anybody else making videos on the case, you know. Unfortunately, though, for some reason, I don't make it into the algorithm all the time, and people, you know, when the case is bigger and I'm making videos, I do get views on it. But I've put out videos in that case that are so just like, oh wow, boom, it's nailed. Look at this. And people still are like, you know, I'd rather watch the clown. You know, he'll tell you all kinds of things. It actually kind of sucks, to be honest with you. Had to drink some more of that lemonade. That was good. And if Richard Allen used a burner phone, yeah, they can track that too if they find it, yeah. If they can figure out that he bought the burner phone. Yep. So I'm really interested to see what's on that data, because apparently they found something new recently that's very damning to the defense. And I'm not sure when they're going to be talking about that, but I think I remember reading that just a week or two ago. Yeah. Well, thanks, sweet one. You guys are so nice. It's been such a cool night tonight without all the trolls. For some reason, they didn't show up tonight. Better knock on some wood really quick. Welcome, Woman of Steel. As in Wonder Woman. And a Megazoid, too. Wow, thank you. You always hit your head. Yeah, we had one of our mod meetings today on Discord. I was late. I was like, I had it all memorized, remembered to do it. Then it's like, oh, and I showed up at 4:15. But we still went longer. It was only supposed to be a half hour. It was 45 minutes. It was just, we just hang out. It was kind of funny, though. They're always so mean to me. Like Paulette. Just so mean in those meetings. They get back at me for all that. Yes, but they haven't released what that damning. Yeah, they're not going to release that information. Yeah. Oh, would you have gone, Amber? I want to see your head, the one they sewed back on. How's it going? Yeah, Alley Cake. She was mean too. They're all mean. Every one of them. Just kidding. Oh, you got send? Yeah, send me a picture. Yeah, send it. I want to see it. It's not to be shared though, right, Amber? Is that? Or do you want me to share it or what? It would be kind of funny. I went to sleep and missed the meeting like a dummy. You guys all, everyone's missing these meetings. Oh yeah. Well, she said she got a jaw replacement, and she described it as her head looks like it was like not her head or something. Like Miss Puff Drone SpongeBob. Oh, cool. Send it. Let me see it. Yeah, I don't have to show everybody else, but I want to see it. But if you give me permission, I'll show it. That'd be funny. But how's your everything working? Are you able to eat now and stuff like that? Oh yeah. Huh. Diamond Plumbing and Heating. Let's see. I mean, are you able to eat food now? And how long does it take to where it sort of fuses in with the bone and everything? Or it's part of your, connected, I guess. She showed me the operation. It was crazy. Jesus. What's it called? Amber, type in what it's called. I'll show it on the screen. Yeah, I was trying some of that hydrogen water. I just looked at my... You guys ever tried that? I was trying to see if it, if it works. Oh. Let's see. Let me see. It does look like you're... It looks like they sewed your head back on. That's hilarious. Yeah, you don't look the same yet, but you still got a lot of swelling, right? It's called total jaw joint replacement. Oh. You want me to show the picture? Oh yeah, so here's the look at that. All this stuff, the metal in there. Oh, you can't look, hold on. Jeez. Right there, look at that. Is this yours specifically? Wow, so this is metal there. Metal. Man. Do you want me to show the you want me to show the picture, Amber? I mean, you'll look totally different later. I'll do the side. How about the side one? Okay, here we go. Look at that. Like that's not what her head looks like. I've seen her before. But like the whole jaw was replaced in there. But see how it's like that? I was thinking it does look like that. That's hilarious. That's funny. Is this today or is this like when you were in the hospital? I mean, I've actually met Amber in person. Yeah. So what did she say? Yes. Tons of swelling. Yeah, I mean, her head doesn't even look like that. Eating is still rough. It's like physical therapy. You can... Oh, I can show them. Okay. That's day 5. So you're way past that now. So is it way down now, the swelling, compared to that? Yeah, so the day 5 would have been, God, like 12 days ago. And how about the ringing in your ears? Is that all gone too? Still, or? Yeah, but still pretty swollen. He says it takes a month for the swelling to go down significantly. Okay, so you still got another couple weeks. Yeah, that's amazing. So did your ears ring all the time before? The ringing is all gone. Man, that's great. So now it's just about healing and eating. You gotta like actually eat like something. Will you be able to eat an apple, or do you kind of have to be a little bit cautious all the time from now on, or can you be back to normal after a while? Yeah. Well, anyways, thanks for letting us see that, and glad you're getting better and recovering and swelling go down. We'll have to go meet over in for Brian Koberger. Maybe we'll go to a hearing or something at some point. I think they're all closed though, aren't they? They just have the live feed. Or drive around, get some more mapping done. Yeah. Awesome. All right, you guys. I think that's going to do it for the show tonight. Yeah, the trial would be cool, but if it's televised, I think I'd rather play it, Like if they do that same, how they did the Daybell and the way they're doing it. If they do the trial, I think it'd be better for me to live stream it. Don't you? I mean, I guess I could live stream it from there if I got good internet connection and then be sort of in the community, but I don't know. I think if I was here and they live streamed it, I could easily, I could make some really good presentations with it. So I think I should be here. But maybe, I don't know, man. It's not that far away. It's about a 5-hour drive, but I don't know. I think just being here would be better. Is that what you guys are agreeing with? That if it's being streamed on YouTube, I think I should cover it live on my channel. Because I think this is where you'd want to watch it. Because I actually have 3D models. All the different footage. We already know what the hell's going on. Yeah, it would be cool for something, but I don't know. I'd miss it I'm sure they'd be on the screen too. Maybe not their faces, but they'd be talking. All right, so, this is all like in a year from now or something, but I think pretty soon we're going to have to go back over the Idaho 4 case again. Because it's always good to keep it in your head and, keep the crazy thoughts that other people might throw in there from time to time. I guess that would be sort of going through the probable cause again with all the stuff that we've done too. Let's see. Okay, so thank you to Lil Puppy Paws, Paulette Leonard, Allie Cake, Julie S., Allie Cake, Elizabeth Marie, Callie Gal 3, Judy Grandstrand, gifted 5 memberships. Then Paulette Leonard, Dallas Rose, Lighting Their Way Home, Uncle Rico's Camper, Kim T gifted a membership. Then Brennis Bratt, Katja T, Plato, Cindy J, Melissa Teal, then Ying Yu Burgess, then Michelle H, and Wendy Van Rokel, Missy 6, been here for 6 months. Thank you. Then Heather Gannis, Jim Lawn, then Pixie Blue, Nikki Zubs, Jean Darcy, then Ying Yu Burgess again. Thank you. Then Jim Lawn. And then Lanky Tor, 52 months. Then she gifted 5 memberships. She always gifts a lot of memberships. So thank you, Lanky Tor, out there, for all your gifting of memberships. Plato, Alley Cake, Paulette Leonard, Yingyu Burgess, and then Cindy J, Osiris Stewart, Lisa Valenzuela, Michelle H, and then M. Jordan Jarding. Then this is when the people were trying to match Sharon Gornick's challenge. So then we got Yingyu Burgess again, then Louie, and then Nikki Zubs, Peter Rad Story, K Me, Rad Story again, and then David Barlow and Woman of Steel became channel members. Very cool. Well, thank you guys. That was really, and then also, you go over to here. So thank you to WNC Granny earlier today, then Christina, Lil Puppy Paws, Sandy Shirley, and then Sharon Gornick with their double cat eye matching PayPal donation. That was very cool. Thank you so much, you guys. You guys are amazing. I don't know if I say it all the time, but you guys, I really appreciate you guys. I know sometimes I'm stressed out about trying to get to the goals and everything like that, but I think the end result at the end, it's just been pretty crazy. I mean, just look at that right here. $200,100 from directly from the income from the ad revenue, the super chats, etc., have all led to this channel donating $200,000 and $100. So $201. I don't know how to say that. $200,100 since January of 2020. All right. I know I bring it up a lot because I think it's just so cool. Sometimes I look at that and go, "Dang, I could have paid off my house." But no, I don't really care about that. What's amazing is just our DNA fund, the scholarship fund, all the different charities we give to. It's awesome. I just hate the raising part of it, trying to get the income to come in. Sometimes I think if I just keep making video after video after video after video after video on a case, I could probably get into the algorithm where I got a lot of views, like 50, 60,000 views, and then I wouldn't even need to do super chats or anything. But I like doing the live streams, hanging out with the freaks. I mean, if you're just doing videos, you're not really hanging out with anybody. So anyways, we just hit that goal on the 15th of this month, and it's all because of you guys, right? I put out the videos, and you guys support the channel. I mean, of course, there's some of it's ad revenue, but I wouldn't be anywhere near that without you guys. I can tell you that. How's the? I have to start adding to it this year. I've already put some in there, but the end of this month, I'm going to put I think 1,000 into it. Maybe even, I don't know. We'll see where we're at, but. We've already given 1,500 this month, so if I can, if I do 2,500 more, if we get to the 4,000 realm, then I'll probably give them 1,500, and then maybe 25. Maybe I'll do the whole 2,500 in there, and get back to the DNA fund next month, because I think we are already kind of at a point where we have enough to do some cases in there. Well, cool, sweet one. I'm glad you like it. I'm sure I'll piss you off at some point. I always piss everybody off at one point in time, right? Come on, everybody. There's got to be a time. I piss Amber off sometimes when she's talking about psychological things, and I'll go, "Oh, come on, you're giving that guy a break." Jessica Schubach, I'm sure. Yeah. Do you think Maddie's mom is a witness for the prosecutor? Maddie's. Oh, Madison Mogan? Who are you talking about? Oh, you mean Madeline Soto. Maybe. I mean, I'm sure she's... I mean, if you were her, wouldn't you? You'd probably say, God, he used to... This is what... He would trick me. He would say this and this and this. And they'd probably tell her, yeah, that's exactly what these predators do. They make you feel comfortable by saying who knows what's going on there. I think when they were talking about the other day that another arrest might be made somehow, I think they're talking about something else. I mean, I think they might be talking about a ring that Stephan Sterns was uploading pictures to. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's a reality. I don't think 700 pictures, you don't think he was sharing those with some other pedos out there on perhaps Telegram? Yeah, maybe, I sort of discounted that Santa guy thing right off the bat, but later I was thinking, that's sort of interesting. I mean, that one guy took his life right after that, so, I mean, who knows? But there's so many rings out there. It doesn't have to be the Santa guy. There's, especially on Telegram, it's just a whole community of wackos. Maybe we could do a night for a scholarship fund, or maybe an hour each show. I don't know. I just do the same thing on the scholarship fund. I just donate out of the same way I do it all year. Like if I donate. This year I'll probably get, be over 50,000, I would think, if we kept up a similar pace. So during that year, I'll be able to put like 6,000 of the money into there. And we could have one of those nights where I say, hey, everybody, tonight, let's try to get up to 1,000 and I'll donate 1,000. Even if the super chats are only 1,000, I'll still put 1,000. We could do something like that. That might be a good way to do it. Ding, 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 ding. The Santa guy ring. Who's Dan? You spoke with Dan, who was very interested in your... I don't know what that means. And what do you mean by interested? Like trying to get a scholarship or what? It's actually through a place, it's a non-profit online that has a place where you can set up scholarships on there. They have the money there, and then they're the ones that allocate it to the students when they go to school. Telegram's that one that it's just a site for file sharing and videos, and I don't know who Dan. Oh man, I'm getting hiccups. I don't know who Dan is. Oh, the free lab that we talked about. Let's see. Yeah, I kind of remember that. Nah, man, that was kind of like a couple months ago, wasn't it? Free lab. Okay. Well, I'll have to get reminded on that. Maybe I'll talk to you in the next couple of days or something. Figure out what the hell I'm kind of not remembering. I got so much crap that goes in my brain from day to day. It's hard to remember stuff, sadly. The free lab. What kind of lab is it? What kind of lab is that? Don't you think it'd be cool, though, if other YouTubers did the same thing? on their channels. I mean, we could just be having like millions of dollars a year given away to. No, I'm nowhere near Myrtle Beach. I live in a completely opposite side of the United States. What do you mean? We covered that case for weeks, Graylin. What you're asking me about? What do I think about him? We covered it for weeks. I mean, the whole time it was active. I think he's a dirtbag, the husband, but he also. I donated $20,000 to his lab. I did? Huh. Are you talking about like? What's the name of it? I mean, I've donated $20,000 to NCMEC, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I've donated $20,000 to. It's over 20 to all these, and then RAIN, which is Violence Against Women, and also Texas EquiSearch, and then our DNA fund has over 80,000 in it, like 87 or something. It's crazy. The Identifinders, are you talking about? I guess I don't remember what lab that is. I think you might be talking about NCMEC, right? The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. That one? I wish it was quicker typing. Okay, then I don't know what you're referring to. I don't remember giving 20,000 to a random lab like that. Okay. Well, maybe have him tell you the name of the lab and let me know. I mean, maybe he's one of the. Is it a forensic, like DNA type lab or something? Because maybe it's part of that whole thing. Weird. Oh, Intermountain Forensics. Oh, okay. Yeah. We've given them 87,000. So he told you the wrong number there. Yeah. It's way more than that. So tell Dan he needs to get updated there. Yeah, it's definitely the lab. But yeah, tell Dan he needs to get updated on those numbers. That was 87,000 so far. Hammer Maiden, and they actually fund. Well, they get some of the money though, so maybe that's what they're talking about, because Identifinders International uses them for part of the process. Oh, you did? Oh, well, but okay, but even a year ago we'd already given like 50 something, but that's cool though. That's awesome. And maybe he's talking about the amount they got, so that's cool. Very cool, Sharon. Very cool. That's pretty interesting that you know that same group. All right, I was told that they want to do a flyby. Oh boy, here we go. You know what's weird is the first part of the show was kind of a downer, and then it got the Delphi case. That's when it was more interesting. What the hell happened? Because I guess it just kind of is a downer, that whole case, isn't it? I mean, it's just. All right, you guys, that's going to do it, but we'll do a flyby at the end. All right, and thank you all very much. A special thanks to Sharon there for that matching scenario. That was very kind. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so it was Intermountain Forensics. Very cool. But anyways, thank you guys very much for being here. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. And 1 and a 2 and a 3. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a
Crime dissector, plug rejector, I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gregel's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector,
And I'm always gonna be a protector,
fool deflector, interceptor,
and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector.
on his pector
With all respect, y'all,
Just remember I've a temple fucking checker. I
hey,
have
thanks,
fluid
Diana, like right now, okay?
and I'll serve it to you
You stay without the blender, and in the end, I'm gonna send ya.
on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah. So
All
just
right,
get-
everybody.
All right, everybody. Talk to you.
Oh, you gonna do the flyby, Gray?
Yes, I am, Mary Lou. Yes, I am. If I can just remember how to get there. Oh, there we go.
Hey, thanks, Quinta Huggins. I'll let Gray know. Woo-hoo! Alright, Gray, that was bitchin'! That was so cool, dude! That was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, Gray! I mean, there's never been a song that's been greater than that!
Would you just... Oh, my God. I mean, it's fun and everything, but, I mean...
Gosh, Gray, I was just trying to be nice. Gee!
Okay, sorry, Mary Lou.
What do you mean, Gray? You never say sorry.
Well, because I didn't even mean it that time either.
What do you mean?
Are you okay, Mary Lou?
Yeah, I'm fine. Good night, everybody.
Oh, I got tricked again, everybody. That poser Mary Lou. Can you believe it? What a poser. All right, we'll see you guys later. And be safe out there.
Good night, everybody. Gee.
Good night, Mary Lou.
Good night, Gray.
Good night, too.